Alrighty, and welcome to Magnus Aevum, Episode 9. Where do their loyalties lie?
That's a good question.
So, to catch everybody up from square one, Adriana, professor at the local Academy for Magical Arts and Studies, otherwise known as the HIPLOT, has been missing since, well, we began. Through twists and turns of trying to solve the mystery of why she disappeared, a few individuals, namely another professor named Lucretia, has been unearthed, allied with, and a couple occasions protected. An individual by the name of Alden, who seemed to be an independent researcher, engineer, and just all-around grumpy specialist in mechanical and, well, he's not really good at daily conversation, so I guess that works out. A soldier who is one of the leadership, not the highest of it, but definitely one of the leadership, named Isa, who works at the local Prima Bellator, an academy for the military in the local area. She's charged them with protecting Lucretia, but there's been questions as to how she knows what she knows, who she's connected to, and how her and Adriana's connection seem to work out. I think some of those answers are starting to come to light at this point. She has a superior named Regulus Lepus, who has thus far been scarce, though I don't believe there's been too much of a want and desire to speak to the man yet. Another individual that came about throughout the course of everything is a familia member named Aquila. Might have much more personal things tied to Adrid, but at the bare minimum, definitely got tied into Adrid and our wonderful familia connections through Lamel. Those don't seem to be related to the mystery, but the familia did have a tangle in this whole deal, as they're connected to multiple attempts to ensconce Lucretia away, and there were suspicions that she was tied to Adriana's disappearance. In the long run, it seems that that even broke down enough, and a nice little dinner led to a nice, quiet walk home that resulted in an assassination attempt that got very successful, except for the last point that they're supposed to have, which is a dead body.
Yeah.
The murder part of the assassination?
Right. So, I mean, got real close, and Lamel got Lucretia all the way to the hospital, and medical care and appropriate magical assistance did save her life. Along the same lines of finding that all out, by the next morning, Adriana had a contact, well, a few quiet contacts with Gwen, the historical specialist and researcher, also from the Academy. She disappeared with a small note of, essentially, follow me. It had a little bit more words than that. Previous episodes, you can check how all these details unfurled. Nonetheless, our group of adventurers did go and follow Gwen, Dominus being the exception, who left with another individual that was introduced very briefly by the name Priya. Her exact connections, except to the tier name, are still unknown. Past that, you did find Adriana in our last episode. She seems to be a very scared woman who may have made some very high-powered people very, very angry. And as it turns out, she may have some high-powered friends backing her, but they're not keeping her safe. So she took matters in her own hands. It just turns out those matters also are what shot Lucretia and shot at our protagonists. So now the real question is who do you believe? Who do you back? Why do you back them? Or do you just choose to go, this is not my battle to wage? We're going to find out. You guys are inside the mountain. Space, you're not too sure how it even exists, but it is still always nighttime here. The sounds of animals is almost non-existent. You don't hear any crickets, you don't hear any birds.
You hear one bird.
Well, I can tell you what it doesn't say.
Hey, Lamel, could you do us a favor?
That bird's been shot so many times. We're 9 episodes in, that bird's been shot 3 times.
I can make it 4.
I'd really rather you didn't.
Oh, I already made the assumption it was done. I'm sorry. Twice. You do have Adriana, who's here, is apparently willing to help you. She has sabotaged the project she did all the research on, and she hasn't expressed the details of that sabotage, but she did express why. She has to some extent explained to you Lucretia's potential role in this. Not that she is in charge of anything, but just the knowledge leverage. I almost said leverage. I didn't mean to be British for a minute. And if that's the way you say it, it's the way you say it.
It's quite alright indeed, mate.
Is it? Okay.
Sorry.
Take an accent I didn't want to have tonight. So, you have some assistance in these two weirdly made soldiers that are guarding a door that apparently is really important.
Yeah. That we left open.
And the terrified woman
I still don't understand what's important about it.
You
Exactly.
gotta close the door.
who has calmed down. Where do you go from here?
I'm gonna go open the fucking door just to spite him.
No, he's not. I'm gonna beat him there.
I'm gonna just follow Adriana around, waiting to,
We're gonna get you some components.
you know
some
all
nice friendly spell components.
I love spell components.
I would like to cast something other than Sanatos give him guidance.
This is very much your show at this point.
Oh yeah, I guess we should play the game, right?
You want to?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, we don't have to play the game.
Is
You
this
guys
real
can
life?
just watch us eat.
Or is it just
for-
fantasy?
I'm gonna.
I didn't go more than 10 seconds.
You motherfucker.
So we're gonna get you some spell components. Come with me, and I start putting things into a fucking basket on the table for him.
She's going shopping?
I mean, yeah.
What things we talking?
I have.
Did we
different
ever
baskets.
unbag the thing that was in the bag?
Yeah, you guys want to know what's in the bag?
Yep.
As long as we don't look in the box, we're okay.
What's in the bag?
What? In the... So, D&D Beyond is apparently doing this really neat, weird thing where they put snow all over your characters when you load them. I'm really not kidding.
Huh?
They just snowed my screen and my character when I
You should get
loaded
that
it.
checked out at a doctor.
It's December. Duh.
That's so weird.
It's the little
Guys,
things
but
that
it's
matters.
Florida.
So useful, but also what? All right, so talking about the bag. Inside the bag is... Who's got pencil? You ready to go? All right, I don't care how you do the shorthand, it's all on you. 1 abacus, 2 vials of acid, 1
All right, maybe
alchemist
slow
sapphire.
down a tiny bit
Oh,
for the handy dandy people who are writing them down.
Abacus acid.
alchemist flask,
1 alchemist was.
a portable alchemist kit, 2 amethysts. Yes, this is in alphabetical order because D&D Beyond organizes your inventory. An antitoxin.
Hold up. You said 2 amethysts, right?
Yep.
Amethyst.
It's starting to sound like Josh needs to share.
Antitoxin.
You're good, you're good. We have 5 azurite gems. I will need perception for that one. 4 blocks of incense.
Okay.
2 candles, 1 half used. Nobody ever thought there was going to be like this crazy inventory dump, did you? 2 citrine gems.
Is there a pearl, perhaps?
Some clothing, looks like about a week's worth. Some of it is fine in quality, some of it is very much travelers and common wear.
Week of assorted cloths.
A strange device that is mostly made of wood. It sounds hollow, and it has this metal grate on the front of it, and 2 knobs.
That's like a radio, isn't it?
I twist one of the knobs.
You start hearing your night.
I twist the other knob.
I did a very similar thing in my last
kind
session
of
I ran.
tunes
Awesome.
the Not too sure. One smoke grenade.
Ooh.
It is thus known because it is a metal canister with a simple pin in it. No hammer, not like modern stuff or anything like it. The pin, if you pull it, actually pulls the top right off of it.
Jason, no, she's not made of wood.
Anyway, and on the side of it, it says, warning, do not use indoors, contains acrid gases. Three potions of healing. We know you wanted those.
A little bit.
Who got hurt?
I mean, I did. I
I'm
fought
fine.
2 robots.
I mean, I'm fairly certain Adrit's been hurt multiple times.
Yeah, no, you and me are real good at just not getting into the fight, so we're fine.
It's okay. I think I have 9 on me already. Let me check.
2 potions of watchful rest
I don't know what the
and a
hell it is.
third bottle that is empty but labeled the same.
I think she drank it.
One bottle.
Set of portable smithing tools, but it is incomplete. Because there's gaps in the little foam inserts of it. No, I'm kidding. It's not foam, but it's wood. Same idea. Don't you hate that? You open a toolbox, you're looking for something, you're like, I see the indentation where this thing is supposed to be. Where is my monkey wrench?
That damn 9mm socket.
All
right.
Where is my monkey?
My 3/8 socket that's used universally for everything is not inside my case.
7 potions of healing.
Well, where is my
Okay.
super suit?
Oh man, I did start sounding like that, didn't I?
Yeah.
My bad. A attached piece to the backpack is a tinkerer's tool set of fine quality. A water skin, and a smaller water skin that smells very potent. You're fairly certain it contains alcohol that is very well distilled.
The writing session.
Mm-hmm.
I will need a perception check to know if there is anything further in this. As you start going through the bag, you do quickly realize this bag is holding far more than you could even come close to putting into space.
I got a 12.
13.
Okay.
Mm,
She's off doing something.
You guys do manage to eventually kind of do the whole, like, reaching in. One of you eventually reaches so far in, you get like this, and you're kind of reaching down, but the bag's only like this deep. And you eventually find this little, like, tiny spot where there's a little box. You pull the box out. It is very finely made, but it is wood, and it just has a simple little gold latch on it. You tell me what you do with the box.
I present it to Adriana and ask if we can open it.
Yes, that's what we do. That's the smart.
You think I'm letting you go through this bag on your own, sir? You just happen to be writing it down.
You didn't find the box, so.
No, but you're definitely being supervised.
I mean, Adriana's not really stopping you from going through the bag, to be honest.
What is this box?
Open it.
Kaboom!
Contained inside is a couple of things that you're going to be like, 10 blue quartz,
10 blue quartz.
Here's a pearl.
a ruby, uncut,
Is
Ruby.
there a diamond worth at least 300?
2 bloodstones,
No, it's a diamond worth at least 1,000.
and a black sapphire
Or a silver.
that you initially mistaken as a pearl, but it is not because it's the way it's been cut makes you think it was a pearl.
So sad.
It's very mirror glossy, cut to be round. It's faceted into a silver bracelet, bangle. Those are singular. Yes.
There will be no casting identify for me today.
You need a pearl.
Yeah, I need a pearl, and then I think it's like worth 100 gold pieces. But oh well. We will just have to find one.
That's just what's in Adriana's bag.
Yeah.
There's stuff on her person and in her lab.
Say, do you happen to have a pearl?
Takes you over to the lab, and there's a box with like 5 of them in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I only need the one.
When you go to take the pearl, it is important to know for Gwen that this isn't Adriana's stuff.
I figured as much.
Okay, good. The bag is. Everything else is
I
not.
figured.
Okay, so I can write that down on my character
That's why
sheet now.
I also motioned throwing it at him.
Yeah. If you decide to keep the bag, it is a handy haversack.
Oh,
Nice.
not a bag holder.
Kinda. It's more of a backpack of holding. Instead of a duffel bag of body keeping. You cannot say every adventure party doesn't think about it.
Stuffing a body in there. I know it came up in Adavar.
Do you know how many of them probably do? 99% of them.
Okay, so we have that, and then the only other components I have. That, and then...
I'm satisfied. I had food.
Are you satisfied?
I'm not.
Really and
I can never
truly?
be satisfied.
Ooh. We're gonna sing those tunes today?
Mm-hmm. It's a musical kind of day.
As long as you don't give up your shot.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
Alright, so I remember talking about the whole rings not being a thing because we'd have to find that elsewhere.
If we start doing musicals, it'd be bad.
Would there
I need to find
also
a
be...
bar that does that.
Would there also be any kind of specially marked sticks, bones, or similar tokens worth at least 25 gold?
Yes. Unless your spell
So-
component is over, I would say, maybe 200 gold, I assure you I have it.
Except for the rings, yep.
You remember the skeleton you saw?
Yeah?
It's etched all over the place.
Mine.
And I'm fairly certain it costs a lot more money to get a body for science than
Alright.
25 gold.
I'm just gonna yoink a couple finger bones, you know, just... So now I can cast Augury, which I'm
How do
so
we know this-
happy.
This
start
person
pulling the
isn't
finger.
a peasant.
Oh.
Probably worth less. Take some more.
You start pulling the finger
Femur.
off. He starts pulling the finger off. Adriana's like, wait, no. That project's ruined.
Mom's.
What is the importance of the skeleton?
Not now, you've already pulled him off.
What
Then it is in the
importance?
past.
She just, sheer shock. It stops her from crying.
Good, we have enough crying from you.
I'm sure that project was not that important.
Dad.
Perhaps. And she goes over to the, well of vats that are sitting there on hanging. There's, this rotating brass ring.
Mm-hmm.
There's, 6 or 7 vats attached to it with different chemicals in it. You have no idea what they all are. Some of them, you probably actually could attempt to identify, but they all smell terrible. And they have hoses that run out to them and into the table. Along the lines of it, you can see what you're guessing is amphibian and reptilian body parts from dissection. And along the side, you can see a few of these said amphibians and small reptiles, mostly lizards and snakes, in cages.
Okay.
These are not the dissected ones, obviously. They're
Alright.
just test animals.
That's pretty neat.
They're not just strung up like the corpse was.
No. But there's 2 tables, so you have one table kind of here, and the skeleton's lying on it.
Mm-hmm.
The vat system is sitting here, and it's probably about 10 foot high. The cylinders are probably yay big, like the decent size of a pint glass, if you will, but no handle.
I could use a pint.
Probably. The piece rotates if you move it by hand, but otherwise it doesn't move at all. There's tubes that come down it, and they go into the table where the skeleton's at. There's a second table that's over here. In the center of it, there's a gash out of it. And the entire thing is slightly sloped all the way around to go to that slot. There's a flat board in the far back against the backing of it. The cages are off on the side here, but there's some parts that have been harvested that it looks like gore going into the slot. It had not been cleaned yet.
It's fucking gross.
It's been a minute since I've had to be here, my bad.
Alright.
It's
so
fresher than that.
I'm
She was doing something.
pretty excited. I look towards Adriana and anyone else in the general vicinity, and I say, would you please allow me one moment?
Just don't break any more of the skeleton.
I do not plan to. Now it is time for me to work in an area I am an expert in. I am no longer the fool. I put down the bones on the ground in a certain order, and I cast Augury. Specifically, let's see, I think it is... Yep. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses from the following possible omens. Wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good and bad results, and nothing for results that aren't especially good or bad. And with this, Adrit prays and asks the question of siding with Adriana in the immediate future. How will that bode how will that bode for my tribe? Or just in general, I guess.
You're like, all right, DM, figure out this.
I love how it's pretty blunt. All right.
Well, I think the answer's gonna be pretty blunt.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be a whole lot of nothing or
Nothing.
both.
Your question is specifically about the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Please describe to me how you cast the spell and the spirits interact with the magic.
All right, so as I said before, laying out the different marked, engraved bones, Adrit begins to focus on them, and you can see... Give me a moment, I gotta think of a really cool animal.
Oh, pick a lizard.
No, I'm a lizard.
I know.
An ox.
A
An
chipmunk.
octopus.
A chipmunk.
A chipmunk.
You got a whole book of them.
A cricket. Crickets are cool.
Do you know like any insects that like represent symbolically like wisdom, I guess?
Butterfly?
Scarab.
No.
Crickets.
Okay, crickets, there you go then. A bunch of crickets seem to... Well, I don't know.
I wish I was joking.
They seem to sprout out of the ground and gather around these bones as they start to put them into some kind of formation, which to Adri he'd be able to interpret as, either wheel and woe, or nothing. So.
Okay.
Magic!
As they start to form the bones together, their spiritual forms start collapsing into each other to make one larger cricket, who acts as a centerpiece. As each one is placed, they start out in various fashions, and you start seeing them go, and it just sits in the middle.
Okay. So...
And with a cryptic answer, you get a circle with a dot in the middle.
Is that wheel? Is that woe? Is that wheel and woe? Is that nothing?
Looks like a wheel to me.
Okay.
I was like, wheels are typically
Okay,
circular.
That's not the kind of wheel. It's
No, I know. We're just
Okay.
being a smart ass about it.
played me for a fool.
No,
Happily.
no. As it forms the entire thing together, the cricket dissolves into a reflection. It looks like a liquid of sorts, but it's just the spiritual energy that's there. And it kind of creates three-dimensional representation of some of the tribes that you have
All right.
connection to. Not necessarily your families, but
Mhm.
the different tribes
Yeah.
of lizard folk that are out there. And it shows no real change.
All right.
You don't see any major change in that.
I probably interpret that as wheel because that means that nothing bad happens to them. But there you go. All right. So with this, Adric gathers up the bones again because the spell doesn't consume them, luckily, and turns to Adriana and says, I have my answers. The spirits would not lie. My allegiance is with you.
I'm not forming an army.
I mean to say that not in the sense of an army, but your ideology. You are against Lucretia in her knowledge being used by other parties?
I'm against the party that would use her knowledge, and yeah, I suppose this works.
And I am on your side. It is the best thing for my tribe.
Do I assume you're helping me too?
Why would I stop now? We got this far.
How much should I be trusting? I don't even know if I should leave this place, let alone anything else.
Well, if your life is currently in danger, here is probably your safer option. Is the hunt for us over with your new friends?
I mean, if you're not protecting her, the orders wouldn't apply logically, but I can make sure that your exclusions.
That would be
Easy enough to do.
Is she walking off to do that or?
No, they're guarding the door.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if she was walking off
No,
to do
she's
that
not
now.
walking
Okay.
off. At the moment, they won't do anything to you anyway.
Oh, that's fine.
Still, nonetheless, assuming all of you, for instance, were willing to help me, unless you have a lot of pull in a lot of places and really know some powerful people, it's not going to mean a lot. Not that I don't appreciate it, because trust me, I do.
Your concern is understood.
And I know where we can reach, but that might not help unless we're willing to talk to some of the ones that might kill both of us.
Typically.
So, I guess my question is do you have that kind of pull somewhere? I'm guessing you don't.
Not here.
I'm probably putting you guys in a bad spot.
Looks intently at Lamel.
I mean, it simply depends on who you're wishing to speak to. Any names in particular that you want to possibly bring on board?
If I try pretty hard, and I'm willing to take a few risks, I can probably get the entire upper echelon of industry with me. I don't think there's anything I can do about Plantier with the king being dead.
Well, let me throw out two names here and let me just spitball them at you and you tell me how you feel. I'm pretty sure I know how you feel about one, but Kuno Adler, I'm pretty sure you feel pretty strongly against.
I think his heart's in the right place. I think his mind is definitely not thinking straight. But that's ideology, not passion and desires.
And secondly, Prince Xander.
That's a lot worse. And it do mean a lot. Near as I can tell, and mind you, I've not had direct conversations with the man or even been privy to some of these, but I can tell by how people move their power around when you can see signatures of it in certain places. That's an ambitious individual who's more than aware that you don't inherit the reins of power in this country. That the clans will elect to push someone else from a different clan in charge. If I had to guess, it'll be a Calum. May, very unlikely, but may be a Lepus. And he has been working very hard to get Calum to back him. More than a tier ever would. And of course the clan supports tier pretty straightforward all the way up. even the sub families, everybody. They're going to support him. And it'd be the first time a king or queen is made from the same clan, from the deceased. And just by how things are moving within the Ministry of Law, it seems like that's likely. So forgive me if I have no trust of an individual that craves power when I'm trying very hard to keep this entire project that I spent most of my life building from being a weapon in that.
Believe me, my intention in bringing that up was not necessarily trust,
Sorry then.
but more so in regards to getting an audience with them is something I can do.
I think Kuno would definitely be advantageous, because then that means we have influence, at least enough to be heard with Vegas as well. I mean, you get the Ministry of War's ear, even in a positive light, for a little bit, it's enough. Paladin's very neutral. I mean, let's be honest here. That's how I got the two that you've already dealt with. That is not an individual that takes sides. So if Kuno is possible, then yes, that would be very, very useful.
Okay.
Just want to say, Andrew, you might want to talk a little bit louder. I can hear you just fine. I just don't know if the mic
Oh, okay.
be fully.
Good point. I'm also leaning in front of it.
All right.
Oh gosh, I hope they. Jason, scream once if you can't hear me.
Just hear all the way from Minnesota. Ah!
Right? Alright, so. I'll talk in normal voice. It's hard to do that and be louder.
Yeah.
You're awful quiet. You had the most questions of me and now the least willing to answer.
Sounds about on par for what I've known for this guy so far.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you've answered quite a few questions.
You haven't.
Fucking Jason, speak up.
I think I have all I need to know.
Then what would you do with this information, Richard?
That's what you will. I'll align until our ideologies don't.
I thank you for being loyal.
Only to you, though, Adriana.
Wink.
Nah,
Can't stand these two over here.
I know, right? I mean, they just keep. I'm sorry.
I
Where's
just gave you
Dominus? We'll
spell
need him.
components, did I not?
You don't hear me.
Oh, I know.
Oh, God, what the fuck?
Something wrong?
No, I needed to speak to Adriana about something on session 1, and now I'm trying to remember what the fuck that was.
Oh, yeah, the
Backstory
reason
stuff.
everybody
No, it's
wanted
not
Adriana in the
backstory
first
stuff.
place?
Motivation
Session
stuff.
1?
Yeah, no, it was the fucking, like, why did I need to seek Adriana?
I remember just the interaction. It was at the High Plat, right? And you're just walking around like, oh, big old lizard dude. And I'm like, hello.
Mhm.
You are looking for someone. I will come help you. And that's how this all started.
Yeah, Nina needed something from Adriana. I think it was, like, students for a fucking mock battle that, quite frankly, has been so long I doubt it even fucking matters.
this entire thing has taken about a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it matters anymore.
Nina's probably pissed at you.
Nina's always pissed at me.
Yeah.
He didn't get me the students.
That does sound about right, though.
Hey, Adriana. Could you write me up a note that you're okay with some students performing a mock battle at the arena?
What?
Yeah, Nina at the arena wanted me to call in a favor with you.
I'm fairly certain she just wants something built.
That didn't sound like she wanted something built. It sounded like she wanted permission for students to compete in the arena in some capacity.
You just this look of abject horror. She's thinking for a moment. You're asking me to encourage students that I probably have no influence over at this point to participate in a blood sport?
No, it wouldn't be a
you'd
blood
probably have
sport.
more pull with her.
You would.
I was told to ask Adriana. So that's what I'm fucking doing, Richard.
She's been out for about a week.
Look, I'm a man of my word. I said I would ask. I doubt it's a blood sport. She said it was going to be a
It's
naval competition.
It's the Coliseum, of course it's a blood sport.
It's not all to the death.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you think I'm still here? Oh, that's right. It's because I'm undefeated.
Allegedly.
Richard, you shut your goddamn mouth.
I feel like I know for a fact that that's bullshit.
No,
Just
my
saying.
arena record is undefeated.
We didn't say arena records.
I like that caveat
specifically.
Yeah, I said what I said.
It's a very careful measure of words.
Yeah, I know exactly how to boast myself and no further.
So, while you all figure out whatever's going on,
God.
Could you write it down?
I give
please?
her like a really good smile too.
go ahead,
Helps.
persuasion. Go ahead. I have a number somewhere between 1 and probably not going to happen. But
15.
she takes your piece of paper. She goes, "I'll think about it," and then starts walking down where the bridge is at, and then crosses the bridge. And didn't even hear a sound. She's gone.
I don't think I'm getting that note.
Probably not.
She said
Alright.
she'll think about
Well,
it.
I've done what I came here for. Quite frankly, I'm not ready to give any of you fucks an answer in terms of loyalties. So,
What?
Gwen, I'm assuming, follows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am not a fuck.
I know, Adrit, you're a lizard.
That is correct.
I got you. Don't worry.
What is it?
You can take the students, Adriana.
That's getting handed to me later.
Fucking garbage.
That is 100%
Oh.
going to get handed to me later.
Gwen.
Gwen is not here.
I need you to sign something.
She followed Adriana.
Fuck. That was so fast.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you touch that bridge.
Touches the bridge. Damn it.
Richard, how big are your lips?
Pucker up, boy. Daddy's
Not the-
thirsty.
This is
Answer
not
the
the
question.
scenario that is normally asked here.
It's normally the other way around, isn't it?
Big enough?
Wrong answer. I needed small enough.
Andrew, how big are your lips?
Fucking gaping maw. That of a Venus or a Venus flytrap.
Venus Vitra.
I have a curiosity here if you do that.
Yeah.
Does that look terrifying? Because it's just like rows of teeth?
I mean that's depending on the person's perspective. Words.
Look at an alligator.
It would look like an alligator, yeah. So
I
if
think
you
about
think
like
that
a
is
Komodo
terrifying, then yeah.
Yeah, I would think so too.
That
Okay.
close enough.
A smaller alligator.
I'm just saying that
You're at
probably
a
is
caiman.
mildly terrifying.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, Andrew.
Yes.
I just want to know for future reference if he does it to somebody that's not you all.
I mean, I have been biting people. So.
You have been.
When you
Well,
put a muzzle on him?
Wait till he gets toxic bite.
Toxic bite. Woo!
Anyway,
I don't know how much longer you guys plan on staying here, but I think I'll take a nap and then head out. I don't think there's much point staying here at this point.
Probably not. I think I'm gonna head out. Andrew,
I will follow.
guess we'll see you back at the city.
Oh, well, if y'all are going now, I might as well go with you guys. Take a nap later, I guess.
Before we leave,
I mean, before it gets dark out outside.
Is it already dark outside?
You
I
look
mean,
up.
we got in here around
It looks
noon.
dark in here.
yeah. The idea of time and passage requires like the sun and shadows and
Can I just make like a survival check for a general vibe?
sure.
Alright, is the vibe strong? It's a 13.
Vibe strong as you've been here a while, but not a day, and definitely not long enough for it to, like the owls to be fully out.
All right, let's go.
Before we leave, Lamel, Adric puts his hand on your shoulder and then says, "You are a very nice shot."
Thank you.
That is all.
He's undefeated. Of course he's a nice shot.
Of course he is.
Actually, don't use the gun in the arena. I think we've been over this.
You should.
I wasn't paying
They
attention.
will not survive.
He didn't watch your game.
Fair enough.
At the door, she gets there a little bit before you and is talking to the two.
I pause her and say that thing that I told you.
All right. If that's the case, she touches the lower left part of the door where the hinge is at. The door opens. She sends the two out. I have to hedge bets.
I don't blame you.
Where do I go from here? Just stay?
You can stay here. I got a few other places you could go.
That are this safe?
No. This is your smarter option. But, now we have a few more people who know about it, but you're aware of everyone who currently knows about it.
I can always change the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Should we come up with a color system?
Yeah, probably.
What's it going to be today and tomorrow?
Let's do green and orange.
Okay, so the two of you start reworking the magical lock. As you all are walking down the tunnel, you can see Gwen and Adriana with the door closing.
Like they're leaving?
Nope.
They're on the inside with us.
They're on the inside with you. And as the door seals, a soft green flash goes through the tunnel, emanating about 100 feet away from it.
We need to go out. I just close it.
Well,
This is
one,
the exact reason I left it
didn't-
open.
Okay, we can't keep having this door discussion.
We actually could.
Believe it or not, doors are meant to open and close, so I can open it again.
Okay.
I assume I can open it again, right? We're not,
Yeah,
it was like
no.
we're not like in the middle of this and we're fine.
No. Because it takes them, like if they're walking at a normal pace, it takes them an hour to get there. If they're kind of hustling, 45 minutes, 30.
It was like, because I imagine it took them a little bit longer than it took us.
Dude, you're practically instant.
Yeah, I repeat, a little bit longer.
Also, when you guys cross the bridge, the runes reappear on the bridge.
Of course they do.
They did every time.
No, you don't have to cross
Not coming
to
back.
leave.
Oh, coming back.
After you go on the
Going
inside.
in, yes. Coming back, no.
Alright, back to the city we go.
So I believe everybody's... Well, actually, have you crossed it 3 times already?
3 times? No, I did it the one time to fight the
He
bitch.
cheated the first time.
I cheated the first time, had my key taken, and then the second time I paid the blood to cross over to fight the robot.
So you've gone over it twice. Okay. Everybody's twice then.
In theory.
I just gotta remember Darcy big. Yeah. 3 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So you open the door?
Yeah.
Okay. You going with them?
No, at the moment I gotta fix the door.
Why you gotta fix
Oh
the
no,
door?
that's done.
Oh, the door is
That's
fixed.
24 hours.
Okay.
It's called the ritual casting.
Are your legs tired?
My whole fucking life is tired.
You may take a piggyback ride.
Called it!
It is too late. Richard has already taken the piggyback ride.
No, we can let Gwen have it.
Professor?
Are you gonna be okay here?
I'm gonna have food,
Well, yeah.
and I can always fix my experiment.
I only took a few bones.
Please tell me you left the box for now.
Yes.
Okay, good. Did you put it in the bag?
Out of
Maybe.
curiosity, did you guys take the bag? I assume.
Yes.
I knew they took the bag. That's why I
Okay,
was
I
wondering
just
about
want
the
to
box.
clarify. I was like, did they just jack all of her stuff?
I'm assuming.
Well, they said we could have. Well, she
They
didn't say
not
we.
once did we say, here, you can have all of this stuff. This was her stuff that you went through. But yeah, same thing.
Not seem opposed to.
Her name was not on it.
Richard, you did leave the box back, correct?
Let's not worry about such trifles.
Give me the bag. I grabbed the box.
There's the box.
I handed it to her.
God,
That is all right. You will recover.
there were some shiny gems in there, though.
There was.
Can I have the gems?
She opened the box.
They're in the.
I had to. I was just like, come on. All right.
Cross that off the list.
She takes the sapphire out of it and then hands you back the box.
I don't want the sapphire. I don't want the sapphire.
You now have the box.
I'm gonna contact Magnus.
Yeah, I'll be back later.
Stay safe.
That's the door's job.
Then rely on the door.
I am.
Good.
Adria, you're one in a million. Let's go.
Are you accepting my offer?
Yeah, if I don't have to walk, that's fine by me.
A piggyback ride with Gwen.
It's a long way down this mountain.
Thanks for the note, Adriana. I continue walking out.
But that's not from Adriana, then where did it come from?
Goes into one of her things and pulls out the. What? On your side, that structure you saw, as soon as that door closes, you hear this sound. It doesn't take long for it to get louder. And it sounds like rocks falling.
Out. Gone.
No hesitation, just start running.
Yeah.
Does it sound like familiar rocks falling?
Yeah, you
I
can.
will casually continue to be on his back. So
Okay. So you're on all fours, just nope.
I'm not on all fours, but yeah.
I mean, if she's on your back, that makes sense.
Well, then it wouldn't really be a piggyback ride. Sure. I was doing.
Oh, you're doing that way? Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you how to play your character.
Either
How's
one.
Lamel's response to what sounds like rocks fall?
I walk into the trees and casually walk, because trees will block the rocks.
there were trees in the mountain?
Yeah, there's trees.
Oh.
You're still inside the timberline.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, it's
if
not an
you're
open
trying to hide a
Yeah.
place, you would want trees around it to
Yeah,
block
I
its
just,
vision.
like I said, it's been a minute.
Why are there only trees in this one spot of the mountain?
Makes it look like it's got an eye on it. What the heck? The two of you make wisdom saves for me. I'm not too worried about it, but go ahead and do it. You two have taken off. Oh, you're on his back. Never mind, don't make one.
21.
Okay. So Lamel needs to learn a secret. What? A special secret.
Ooh,
I'll message it to you.
magic.
Gwen already knows this secret.
I don't know magic.
You want to
You
maybe
will.
message it to me anyway so that I remember
No.
what the fuck we're talking about? Or
Okay. You guys are heading back to where?
The
Town.
Palomares, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck y'all think we're going in town, but
I was just gonna go back to the Coliseum.
He's gonna I'm going to get the note to Nina.
Yeah, I've done my job.
the moment I'm going wherever Lizard Boy takes me.
Yeah.
Do we see the robots as we begin our travels?
Well, are the carriages?
Want to make perception checks?
Are the carriages still there or no?
No, they
No,
left.
Yeah, they left. That's a 6.
It's been more like 4 or 5 hours, not 2.
24.
Okay.
Also 6.
You pick up on a whisper of a trail they leave
Okay.
because they have very slight magical auras.
All right.
You're basically seeing signatures. It's not really tracking. You're seeing it moving through the air. It's almost like you're seeing like these energy entrails, and it's just like little tiny, almost formless things dancing along them that you notice more in passing.
All right.
It then also gives you the ability to take advantage when you're trying to spot them.
All right. Now I do want to say, in character, as we're walking and everything, Adrian thinks on it and he says, "Considering I would not like Lucretia to die, but I also do not want a reality of conquest. I think we should try to talk to her. I know she is in her coma, but once she is out."
Is she in a coma?
She wasn't.
She wasn't?
I thought she just couldn't walk.
I thought she was put in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she came out of it.
I never went to the hospital,
She was
guys.
just
I have
sleeping.
no
You guys,
fucking
you've
idea.
never seen her awake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's supposed to be a month until she's recovered. And then they don't know if she's ever going to walk again.
yeah. I remember that part.
Regardless of coma, whenever
Coma
she
these
awakens, coma these nuts, really, man? Come on. I would like to try and talk peaceably with her.
If you think that's even manageable. Because we also still have to deal with the other fuck.
Which other fuck?
The one guy who's always with Lucretia.
Alden?
Alden, yeah. The one that Dominus doesn't like.
Dominus doesn't like Alden?
Correct.
Oh. Why?
Dominus is not
Something
here.
about weaponizing a platform. Which sounds odd, because how do you weaponize, like, stairs?
That would be buddy
Get
since they're both like
creative.
engineers.
That is not what is meant by platform.
I got that, Patrick.
Creative.
No. Really?
There can always be an umbrella involved.
Alright, well,
It's like, how do you weaponize
let's
stairs?
head to,
Because you get creative. And I just did this motion.
All right.
Oh,
And then I said there could always
To
be
the
an
hospital.
umbrella involved, though.
oh, no! No, I hate that anime.
But if you're unsuspecting, umbrellas are definitely a secret weapon.
Next D&D character. Umbrella as a weapon.
Umbrella as a character. It is. The character is an umbrella.
Reincarnated as an umbrella.
Whew, well, okay, we're going way off the shark now.
Yeah. I didn't know we
Not
were
even
on
jumping
a shark.
anymore.
We jumped the shark.
The shark has left the fucking
See,
building.
I think we've decided we're gonna head to the hospital.
Collectively?
No.
Yeah, I think I'm.
I meant it
agree
as a
with that.
collective,
No.
like as a group, you're going.
No.
We're going back to
You're
town.
going. You're going.
We've
to
made
the,
it
Going to
as
the
far as
Coliseum. I have no
town.
fucking reason to go.
I know
to the
Richard and I are
hospital.
going to the hospital.
Okay, where's Gwen going?
I'll figure that part out in a minute.
I will drop you off when you would like to leave.
I figured.
Splitting the party.
So as you go to the Coliseum, when you arrive, there's no guards at the gate, like normal,
They're all
but
dead.
it is closed. It's not sunset yet, so it's a little unusual.
Would I know of a back entrance for like staff
Okay, I wanna
only?
take this down.
Go to the staff only entrance.
As you're coming down a series of winding stairs, and they really are like winding, you can hear what sounds like shouts and argument of more than a couple people, probably like 10, 20 of them.
Man, Nina's pissed at you.
Yeah, clearly.
What you're starting to hear is a combination of the work was set to be done within 1 month. 1 month? I can't pay that much gold that fast. Well, if you would have worked this hard on it and paid this much, the guild would have worked with you. Fuck the guild!
Fuck the guild, huh?
Does the guild have nice curves? I know I'm not there.
Ejected.
Ejected. Hey, do I have to roll a D100 for that?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't a pun.
But it was
just a bad joke.
a bad joke.
Alright, as I make my way down, do I get to put faces to the who's shouting in the argument?
No, because they're not faces that are specific, but you recognize that there's a couple of specific guilds that are involved in here that have worked in partnership with the Coliseum for some time. The Carpenter Guild, like there's 3 of them that work with you nonstop for obvious reasons. There's a masonry guild that's kind of on retainer-ish to fix things, but when you start to pay attention to some of these, there's a metallurgy guild involved and an engineering company, which is really unusual because Nina nor any of the other benefactors and sponsors have ever brought a company in. For anybody's general idea, just so that way you already previously know, companies are collectives of guilds that have chose to essentially organize into a larger guild of sorts. They incorporate in the Ministry of Industry and become actual companies. Typically speaking, they're non-competing ones, so you won't see two carpentry guilds join into a company. It's more likely that a carpentry, a metallurgy one, and some others might to form a construction company. Okay. Instead of a bunch of guilds being negotiated on projects and then negotiate with a company who distributes everything out. Think more like old school mercantile companies, less like a modern company and something like that. There's a lot of people that'll sit in a room and argue over contracts. You're still arguing with all the people that are in charge of each of the guilds, but this is like the entire board of directors made up by guild masters. Mm-hmm. You can earn your way totally up inside a company pretty easily. You can't buy a company out. It's not actually possible. But nobility tends to own a company. So in some form or another, there'll be clans that have enough pull and have enough money or land titles that then become sponsors of the guild masters to form a company. And they're essentially become the sponsors of that company. It's kind of like how the sponsorship in the Coliseum works as well, but instead of there being any nobility in it, it's actually former fighters and military people that have gone, we're done with your bullshit. We're going to have our own entertainment company. And it's kind of the same idea. The companies and the familias compete all the time. The familias being less legal about it, and the companies being questionably legal about it. One is legally more correct. It doesn't mean they're morally less bankrupt.
Always morally bankrupt.
And Dominus wants to start his own company so he can be a general contractor. If you want to fill out the paperwork.
Lots and lots of paperwork.
So, when you're walking in on this, there is none of the sponsors present. You do not see anybody that's actually in charge in the Coliseum, but there are some of the guards trying to keep this from going to blows. It's up to you who those guards are. They're your people, sort of. So, I'll let you control and name them.
I'll have to do that later.
That's fine. Just point at somebody like you and say his name, or their name, or her name, or whatever.
You, Franklin.
Jim Bob, get over here. Hey, Joey.
Fuck you, Joey.
No one likes Joey.
No one likes you.
Oh my god, all that for that. Anyway. So yeah, you're coming down into what seems to be an argument.
She's
Vic, the fuck's going on?
Simple enough. The company over here decided that they were going to use internal house resources, and essentially the independent guilds that work within them are not being subcontracted. So this guild over here, which was one of the subcontracted ones, is no longer getting paid, and they're being thrown off the job site.
Okay. Was it due to performance or just simply being bought out, essentially?
It's always a silver argument.
Okay.
But they've been working with us off and on for a couple of years now. Nothing specific, but...
Loyalty.
Whereas the company is new. The sponsors are the ones that brought them in. So we're just trying to keep the peace. And I don't know where any of the sponsors are right now.
Alright. I guess I'll have to go step in and make a poor decision.
I mean, you'll probably do a better one than mine. Mine right now is just throw them all out on their asses.
That was almost my first suggestion. Well, let me go talk to him.
Okay.
Gentlemen, how much silver is causing this problem?
Which one?
How about we form a list? Let's go down the line.
All right, so Simple solution. My registry says I'm short a little over 583 gold. According to the contract that I've been given to build the extra special tank with very little parameters besides dimensions, we brought in our in-house carpentry guild. We brought in an engineering firm to kind of help us out. And then we subcontract some of the stuff to them. However, their guild's just not big enough to handle the load we need in the time frame we need. So we had to find another support one. And our company recently acquired a guild that does the same performing tasks that they do. You know that's unfair. You already had the agreement. It's already signed. And Ministry of Law and Industry have both signed off. You can't break guild rules like that. Frankly, we're a company, and yes, actually we can. Our own charter allows us to do in-house work before bringing any work outside.
Yeah, but you already brought them in to begin with, isn't that right?
We were told to.
Okay, but they're already here and they've already done work for how long?
Give or take a month.
Okay, at that point, they've already done enough work to be brought in. There's no reason why this should be a problem now. Just continue working with them and on the next project, use your own people. You've already signed the commitment and it's already happening. Just deal with it and move on.
But I already have a guild in my own company that can do this.
Yeah, now. That's not the problem here. You've already begun the process. Just stick with it for now.
Couldn't I just pay out what the work has been done and then just transfer it over?
In theory, if you're willing to pay out that much, plus their trouble for even coming out and starting this project instead of taking up work with another job. You're taking that time away from them too. So it's more profitable for you to just put up with this now.
Guildmaster's got this shit-eating awesome grin right now. And he's slowly inching like you've got his back.
Well, it's funny because he's worked in this field in real life, so you see it coming out right now.
It's fine.
You've cost them more money in simply kicking them out that you would have to pay out than you just continuing to work with them and put up with it for the next 2 or 3 months, however long this project takes place. Because you'd also have to pay them out for the duration of the contract that you are cutting them out of, which would cost you way more money, and then you'd be paying your own people. So I would say just put up with it for now, and then on your next job, use your own guys. You've already gone this far, just stick with it. Otherwise, you're getting both feet wet.
Why am I even considering this? Who the fuck are you? He's been sitting there taking it super serious. And we're like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you?
Meanwhile, he sees this dude
Don't even have a shirt on.
in gladiator trunks, no shirt, combat boots, a trident in hand, and a gun on his hip.
He's thinking in his head, man, this guy's speaking facts. But unless he's royalty, I don't give a shit.
Well, my name is Lamel Tyr, the curio of the Continental Familia and former champion of this very arena.
He blanches, takes a step back, looks at the guildmaster. Sure, we'll do it. I'll eat the costs. Damn right you will.
All right, there. Any other problems?
No.
Cracks knuckles. Good.
Fantastic.
Oh, do we want problems?
Has anyone seen Nina anytime recently?
Actually, I haven't seen any of the sponsors in a couple days.
That's odd. They leave a note or anything?
Uh-oh.
No. The contracts with the Ministry of Industry has been negotiated. Maybe the local guild registry has something for you all, but that wouldn't explain why they're absent. That's just daily bureaucracy.
No. Well, thank you guys. I begin to walk off towards wherever Nina's office would normally be.
Vic comes running up next to you. Dude, no, thank you. I thought it was going to be easier to point spears at him and tell him to get the fuck out and just stop the project until the sponsors came back.
Oh, no, then we would have just had a problem outside.
But that's okay, that's the Watcher's problem.
Well, no, it makes the arena look bad. That's the problem. If we can solve these problems in
fight
the
it
house, I'd
outside the
rather do
arena.
that than
Bad
have it
path.
spill out into the street, and then the common folk talk about the problems the arena has.
It's pretty smart.
I can be from time to time.
It's pretty smart.
I'm good with bureaucracy. Women, on the other hand, I make all the best choices.
Oh. Actually, that explains something then.
What? Oh, God, no.
You might need to check mail in the mailroom before you, find Nina, whatever. But before you leave, check the mailroom.
Is it another baby?
No, well-dressed, dark hair, about yay tall, in uniform.
Oh boy.
That isn't good. Vic, thank you.
If anyone asked, I was
Take it
never
easy.
here.
Okay, yeah. Goes back to, like, corralling the company and the guild people. Are you going to mail or are you going to Nina's office?
I'm going to Nina's office first, so I'll put that off as long as I can.
When you get to Nina's office, the door is closed and it appears locked, suggesting she's out of office and just not here.
I respect Nina's privacy. I'm not gonna fuck with that. I'm gonna check the mailroom.
Okay. Out of the mail. You sure you want this?
No, I'm not.
Holds up a scroll case.
Fucking
Oh,
howlers
no.
from Harry Potter.
When you take it, it's very ornate. It's even gold capped. It's ivory washed. Not ivory like bone, but
Yeah.
like colored. And it's actually got real gold caps on both ends and silk ribbon.
You impress someone.
The only people that give out these tubes is the high ends of the clan.
Oh, I'm fucked.
Oh boy. You in trouble.
I'm gonna open up the cap and pull out the scroll.
Wait, go inside.
When you open
Very
it,
slowly.
that's okay. When you open it, there is a simple scroll inside. Common looking enough. A little ornate in the sense that the metal rods for it are very nicely turned.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of embellishment on it. You can pull out the whole entire thing. It's not in flowery script, but it is very official looking. You've been recalled. They're demanding you return back to the capital.
You got a broken
Your
heart,
family
you
is
gotta-
pissed. But not at you.
What?
They're not mad at you.
What?
They're recalling all of the family. It's not addressed specifically to you outside the initial part, but the entire missive as you're reading it, it's basically saying all major members of the clan are to return to the central clan house in the capital. There's important matters that must be discussed in regards to succession.
I'm considered important? What? Since when? Alright. Fuck. I guess if I'm going to go to the capital, I might as well invite my new friends along. So they can royally fuck everything up.
I love the thought process, right?
I'm so curious, like, which of us is in the forefront of your mind at that sentence?
That's for you to find out. I'd like to ask the mailman in the mailroom. Anything coming for Nina, or she say anything that she might be out? She hasn't been here in a few days?
Yeah. Hold on. It's empty.
It's empty.
Empty.
Did you say you had mail for her?
Thought I did. Must have came and got it.
Alright. I'll go ahead and start preparing to leave the Coliseum, but would I offhand know where Nina lives, or like her general residence?
Yeah. It's nowhere like crazy expensive, but it's also not in poor areas.
Yeah. I'll make my way there, and then I'll make my way to them after.
When you get to the house, it looks locked up, generally speaking. Plants are in the window, with the drapes slightly pulled. They're not closed, they've been opened and tied off. It looks lived in. Nothing seems amiss about it. Unless you like really start snooping on the house, I don't really have much more for you. How long do you wait? Reasonable or uncomfortable amount of time?
Reasonable, like maybe 3 minutes at most.
No one comes to the door.
Where the fuck could Nina be? Alright. Does she have a mail slot?
Yeah.
I just
It's a box right next to the door that's sitting there, but yeah.
God.
take that note and put it in
I
there.
fucking love it.
There's also always a tube on the side for scroll cases in case somebody is delivering. Like, really important shit. Like summons to return to the capital.
Oh, by the way, just making sure, I brought that with me.
Oh, I assume you took that.
Yeah.
Unless you tell me no, you just throw that back and you go, nah, fuck that shit. I assume you took it.
Yeah, I took it.
Okay.
Alright.
Everybody went to the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to go to the hospital? Where are you going?
Hospital.
Alright.
Hospital.
When you get there, it's later afternoon, but not evening. Desk nurse has a bit of a scratch to her throat that I can't do right now. And, names?
Richard, Adriana, here to see Lucretia.
Gwen.
Oh, Gwen.
Same thing.
As yourself, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Hand you out visitor things. Make sure to wear it at all times.
You got it.
Simple rope with a little wooden plaque that has a thing clipped onto it. Just says visitor.
What a sticky spit.
Those don't exist yet. Well, I mean, they can't exist. You're not getting it off that shirt.
Change shirts, please. I assume Alden's still in there?
No.
No one's in there?
Somebody is there.
Oh.
You know them, because they're the head of the school.
Hey, boss.
Oh, Gwen. Why are you not family?
Not family.
Are you the cousin?
No. Debated on where we should go with that.
I tell you, they can't keep track of any time. Oh, sorry, it's a pocket watch. He just kind of starts tapping it in his hand. He's dressed in it's a long coat. It's not like a suit. It's more of a frill shirt that has the deep cut to it. It's got like the ascot thing going, but it's like older than an ascot, but it's an ascot. Long coat, designed to travel when it's going to be weathery or cold. Very pristine pants that have been pressed, usually by a large weight and a little bit of water. And these really expensive looking shoes that are made out of polished leather that has been dyed just slightly off brown.
Okay.
Otherwise, he looks beyond out of place, a bit uncomfortable, and a heck of a lot of annoyed. Even when you approach, he just does the basic greeting to you and then starts going back to the room, just kind of doing it short. March, 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 turn. March, 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 turn.
Seem a
How's
little,
she
And
doing?
the whole time with his watch just tapping against his gloves.
seem a little anxious there, buddy. Everything okay? Anything wrong with our friend?
Fine. I have a job. And the cousin was supposed to come according to Alden, and nothing.
I'll take it from here.
You will?
Yeah.
Remind me later to buy you lunch. And he just departs.
I'll take extra vacation days.
Aren't you on sabbatical? He just leaves.
I'll take more.
Take what you can get, give nothing back.
So she's just laying on the bed. She's out.
At
What
this
was his
point,
deal?
He runs a school. She works for the school. I'm guessing he was an emergency contact they called in, and he's got shit to do. And I guess the cousin never showed up.
Oh.
Unfortunate.
I wish I had known. Alden said cousin. So
Yeah, I was
we
like,
could have been the cousin.
Do I know anything about a cousin for her, being as we work together?
As far as you know, one, she's an only child.
Yeah.
And if she has other family, she's not talked about it outside of her immediate family. She talks about her dad. She is an only child now. Brother died.
That's right.
Which was brought up earlier.
Yep.
So cousin was probably a solid way in, and they said, no thank you.
Yeah. She's off and on referenced her grandfather and her grandmother, never talks about her mom. And her dad's family is discussed. Mom's family is never talked about at all. So if there's a cousin, it's not on the dad's side. They never brought it up.
So at this point, Adrit would walk over to the bed that Lucretia's on, kneel down and start a prayer. Lucretia, I do not believe your heart to be malevolent. In these confusing times, I know that allies are seen as enemies and enemies are seen as allies. But I pray for your speedy recovery and that further blood need not be shed. Sanitas guide thee.
Does she have like a chart?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to take a look at her chart.
The chart.
Okay. It's a spiral book, but yeah.
Adrian, you're a man among men.
Yeah, the equivalent of how she's doing on paper.
I do not follow.
Make a medicine check
Don't
for me
worry
to
about
try
it.
to interpret it.
9.
Okay. So some of the jargon's really messing you up. You've not been trained in any of the medical sciences or magics. But generally speaking, you can kind of read how there's sketched together like dot charts that are in there. There's some general metrics you're familiar with. The notations are probably your biggest leads. She's set up to have another surgery that will attempt to fix the spine. They've called in somebody to assist from the capital who is an expert in what apparently is biomagics. And the weird part of that is bringing them in suggests they think a magic-supported solution is actually going to work. Whereas before, as far as
They
Alden was
said
talking about,
that was bad.
that was not going to do anything. So somebody's reverse course, and you kind of flip through the notes and everything. Our doctor was changed yesterday.
Any of the names ring a bell?
The old one? Yeah. Been there for a while. New one? Nope.
I assume there's no like time frame on any of that on the chart.
It's not noted.
Yeah, I was like, I
It's
would
notations
imagine.
of changes.
Yeah.
That would be
And the
nurse
most
station.
recent one.
Was done this morning.
Okay. Okay.
Do you share what you know?
Not all of it.
I mean, if she puts it down, it's not like you can't read
Well,
it and
yeah.
read the check.
Yeah, I mean, in theory.
Fair.
Looks like she's going to be getting surgery soon to try to fix her spine.
It wasn't able to be fixed
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're not gonna try.
without her consent.
Does she look like she's in a coma, or?
She's just out. There's no like heart monitoring, oxygen monitoring. That's not done that way.
Could I roll a medicine?
So you don't know if it's coma or if it's just.
She may have consented, or someone may have consented on her behalf.
Andrew,
I
can I
have
roll
no
medicine?
idea.
Are you just checking her over?
I wanted to see.
She look like she's in a coma, or she look like she's sleeping.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. So she's not responding to stimulus, so you know she's not just asleep normally.
Okay, so I don't have to
So
roll.
But she does sleep really heavy, as has already been discovered. So
Stab her
Is
foot.
she snoring?
her breathing is super regulated. There is a mask piece that's over her face that's basically looks like all the way over.
I go grab her nurse and I ask where the man went. Not the not her boss, but
Alden, or Alden, I'm
Alden. I keep wanting to say an Adric, whatever.
sorry. Yeah, no, I'm like,
A squad.
I wrote them down so we'd remember, and then we're not looking at our list.
The old man, he left 3-4 hours ago? 3 hours is about right.
Okay.
Did he sign anything?
No.
Is she supposed to have another surgery?
Picks up her chart.
Because
Yeah,
last
looks
we
like
heard
it.
that it wasn't gonna.
She's scheduled in 3 days.
Where's her doctor?
I'm probably, at this point, doing final rounds in the lower floor.
Okay, I won't bug him then. I'll bug him tomorrow.
Actually, I will do a medicine check to do what you're saying, to give her an overall, like, look over.
Yeah, go for it.
So I want to see if there's
Are you
anything-
taking your time?
Yeah.
Do it with advantage, please.
Okay, that'll help.
There's medical gear present, and you can attempt to interpret it.
Exactly, fucking roll.
It's the same roll, it doesn't count.
14.
14? Okay, so she is not asleep by the idea she's just exhausted and went to sleep.
Right.
The mask is actually encouraging it, and what's essentially happening is they're pumping gas into her slowly and in a very, very specific measurement.
Right.
When you kind of follow the line, and however you want to describe you're doing this is fine with me, it doesn't plug into the wall. There's a canister that's on the ground, and it's in 2 layers. There's like a binding around the middle section of it. On the bottom of it is glass, and there's this little fluid that's in there that's just off clear. It's not really cloudy. It just doesn't look as clear as clear could be. It's like when you look at water that's actually sat out for a little while, you always notice there's little like thingies floating, but not really. And then you shake it, and it's normal. I don't know if anybody's done this for fun. Andrew plays with things and has to do with a kid. Fill a sink with dish soap and clean water and let the soap suds go away.
Mhm.
It still never looks clear. It looks murky, but it's relatively clear. It's that.
Okay.
It doesn't take you long to suggest that there may be some sort of chemical that's in there, making it look oily instead of being pure water. The spiritual nature of it, because you probably would take some effort to think about this too, there's magic clearly filtering through inside that fluid that it's being vaporized. And it's traveling up through it, and it's going through the mask. There's 2. The second canister is just a boiler system that looks like it's actually designed to heat up. Water would come up and then percolate back down into the mixing system. So that way, in theory, she's breathing something that's moist instead of something that's like super dry and going to destroy her throat.
Was there anything concerning of note that pops out?
She's in a coma.
Besides the obvious, yeah.
She had been shot.
And that.
To be honest, you're not shocked that with magical assistance of some kind, her exterior wounds have mended so well. You're more shocked that they didn't remove the component that's the problem first.
Is the bullet still in her?
Whatever's messing up her spine must be either still there, or they didn't try to repair that when they used the magic to seal up the wound. Meaning she took a condition that was some sort of debilitating condition, and they kind of baked it into the system so it's permanently on her.
So
Would be a mechanical way of describing that.
the nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
I walk up to her and I say, this surgery she's scheduled for in a few days.
Mhm.
Is it to remove whatever is causing her spine to be the way it is?
Seems so, and they're going to make some correction to the vertebrae.
Okay.
She kind of like takes her hands a little bit after looking at the chart for a second. Think of it this way, as it's kind of curving, and we go down to her lower hip, the one that's here in her lower back, there's one that's slightly like this, and the one that's on top, and then from the impact, it jarred it off. So if she were to try to stand up right now, her hip would be kind of twisted off to the side, and she'd be putting heavy weight on her right side, but she's not doing it intentionally. It would just be because of how her spine turns her body.
I'd only wish to ask to make sure that the medical professionals were aware of the foreign object or other obstruction causing this, and that they had not simply neglected it.
It says it was removed.
There is something else going on. Come with me. And I show her.
She's really confused but goes with you.
I show her what you had described.
I need to have her make a medicine check.
I give her guidance.
Natural 1.
It's her first day on the job. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah. Times are tough. Oh, this man's talking to you. This lady's in a coma. And you're just like, I'm just reading my chart, man. Leave me alone.
And then would that also count as a help action, considering I'm trying to show her? Or
Yeah, sure. I make this better.
Made it worse.
please make it better.
Literally can.
Is that both rolls?
No, it's all ones. It's 11 and a 1. I didn't tell you the result, so you giving her guidance would apply too. She kind of gets it. She looks really puzzled at first.
Okay.
And she even goes over and gets the chart that's in the room and kind of lays it on the bed next to her while kind of looking at it. You can tell she needs it, where she can't do this examination herself. And she's just kind of trying to understand what you're saying, and starts to basically take out a piece of charcoal and start kind of sketching what she thinks it might look like. To her understanding, it's odd. Would be fascinating if it's the case. The notes don't say anything about it. Surgeons and the response team says they took everything out.
Well, it is probably important that this information is updated. But rather not.
I can give it to him. I'm not an expert. She also avoids touching her. So if you do, that's fine, but she won't touch her.
No, I'm not laying more than what is necessary on Lucretia in order to fix this.
You're not just grabbing tits.
I have no interest in breasts. Our species do not possess those.
I'm not here, so
It's a shame.
If he was here, he would be hearing this dialogue.
not yet. Anyway.
So nonetheless, she takes down some notation. She understands kind of what you're telling her. It doesn't match up with her either chart.
Is she writing this all on her own paper or on the chart itself?
She's writing it on the back of the day's orders and results. There's basically
On the
front
chart that's
back-
in there?
On the chart that's in there.
I appreciate your assistance. Would you do one last favor?
I can try.
Someone who is more qualified for this. Could you fetch them, please? That way we can make sure that she is not permanently injured or potentially killed by an oversight.
Not that you're not qualified.
No.
Oh, no. I'm not. We'll get that clear. I can keep her nice and stable and comfortable. I'm not here to, save her life.
Yeah, but you'll catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar.
I do not eat flies.
Despite my awkward appearance.
So she goes ahead and she departs. That takes a little bit of time. What are the two of you doing in the meantime of watching this?
At the moment, just watching.
This reminds me of my time as a
I
shaman.
could talk with the nurses at the nurse station. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, lady man.
Yeah.
The other nurses at the nurse station. Are you staying in or are you wandering out?
Keeping an eye on Lucretia.
Okay.
What do they know about her new doctor, and why was her other doctor shoehorned out?
Oh, well, what you gotta understand here is that the guy that was brought in, he's one of them specialist kind of individuals.
Specialist guys, eh?
I'm telling you, you have to understand. You're making me break myself. Stop. Look, I can tell you this, honey. It's really simple. The individual that came in, he had one of them capital types. He's not from it recently. He works over nearby with the Prima Bellator as one of the combat medics and supports.
He works with the Prima Bellator.
He's the one that oversees the cadets' medical necessities, and in addition, he's worked off and on with the school itself for treating people with, well, biotechnologies.
Ah. Would I know? How long has he been in the role? Would I have known him?
Have you been in town for a while? You know what? Let's just do this. You have the option at any point to have a friend in any work or whatever like that, right? As we kind of talked about.
Mhm.
Would this be one of the friends that you have specifically in the local military, or would you have one in this kind of group that would know him?
He wants to say yes because it'll benefit him.
But if he does, it locks it in.
He doesn't know if morally he should choose yes.
I'm gonna go no.
Okay, so
Check them
you
all
would know
out.
that there is a doctor that is one of the big specialists.
I wasn't talking like
types.
personally know him though. I was talking like
No, just even have heard of him.
Okay.
This individual as an individual, you wouldn't have heard of.
Okay.
You know that they have for about a year or two,
Mhm.
somebody that is like top notch at the academy.
So new dog, top notch.
Can you see Jason's fucking comments?
What? What do you say?
First off, works with the military. I'm going to clarify that statement and say he's in the military.
Any other new gossip going around?
Oh, have you talked to Franklin? Come on.
Not.
You should. He's got a new little thing on the side. They had this whole little dinner going the other night. Whew, it got messy.
Messy dinner.
Well, the mother was there meeting, and the two of them had a chance to be introduced to a lovely gentleman that's quite royal.
Royalty in town. I love everything about it.
Not royal, rural. You know, rustic.
Oh,
Backwoods time.
backwoods. Ooh, I bet he had that southern accent just makes you melt.
I don't know if he has any of the tribe language, but nonetheless, he is scaled, tall. I don't know about dog. Definitely not handsome.
Talks very stoic like very serious.
Well, they didn't talk about that, honey.
Huh.
What they did talk about is the fact that he ate everything on the table.
I wonder who they're talking about.
Okay.
Did he now?
I know what's happening.
All right, that's
Needless to
awesome.
say, Franklin and his new little thing are no longer together, but nonetheless,
Wow, you broke up a couple.
Oh
Ah,
God, I love that. Oh my God.
my god.
that poor little boy's heart's been broken in at least 3 pieces by now.
You
Right now.
little homewrecker.
The two mothers, man, they could not have possibly have. Well, things couldn't have gotten any worse. The argument of who brought who, what, where, ooh, why. Let's not even get into that one.
I hear you. I appreciate your time. I gotta go talk to someone else real quick.
I'm still recovering from that.
Never let it down. Never let it go.
As you should.
20 sessions down the line, someone references that same exact.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It'll probably be at a theater recreating it.
And lo, the legendary tale of the scaled invader.
Just chomps on a table.
Just imagine just Godfather.
Let me make a deal you will never refuse.
Oh.
It's made of marble. Why did you raise my hand?
I will say if Richard is not here and Adriana is staying in the room, I do have something I would like to do.
Cool. Is Lamel heading back?
I was headed to the hospital, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go after the nurse who came in here and went off to go tell some qualified doctor.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna cast suggestion on her.
Oh shit.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm going to
What
guess
could
a
she be up
question.
to?
What's it gonna look like?
As discreet as humanly possible. I'm gonna kind of go up to her, like tap her on the shoulder, like I'm getting her attention, while simultaneously doing spell words with my hands. I'm gonna, tap her on the shoulder and basically just kind of get close to her, like I'm gonna tell her something quietly. And I'm going to basically whisper in her ear.
This is gonna go awesome.
The shrapnel in Lucretia has been completely removed. There is no need to bother a doctor with the information they already have. Then I'm going to walk away.
You're evil.
Oh God, that's just
You're clever, but you're evil.
that's just agree with what next thing I was gonna do.
Yep, and that's why I waited till you weren't there to do it.
What's your save again?
That is a lovely question.
14, I think.
14.
14.
I'm assuming and hoping she's a commoner. But we'll find out.
Survey says.
She's not going to change her general course of action, but you don't feel like the spell failed.
Walk away at that point, as far as I'm aware, it worked.
Okay.
And then as soon as there is a moment where either I'm the only one in the room or everyone is distracted enough for it to reasonably happen, the markings that she made on that chart are going to disappear.
That's going to be curious how you do that. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, me too.
The ones in charcoal?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. See,
I mean, it's paper.
we're
Take the whole
both
thing up.
siding with Adriana, but I might have to bite your head off.
Oh, you're not there, sir.
And on that
My head is
note, we're
fine.
definitely taking a break. So, we will be back in just a couple of moments.
Oh boy.
And we're going to find out if Adrit bites off Gwen's head.
He doesn't know I did anything.
I don't know.
I know.
My
I mean,
head's fine.
My head's
you never know.
So no head.
No head. That's how it goes. All right, we'll be right back.
Bye.
Well, not by like temporary.
Okay,
bye.
see you
We'll
later.
never see you again.
Alligator.
You're back.
Not for a while,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, and we're back on that
As long as it's under the table. Man, we know what shit your son's getting into while you're gone, Jason.
It does not matter.
note. All right.
Ugh.
That's where you hear, hey, kitty, kitty.
Oh.
Norman, what are you doing?
Oh. You vile
Stop it, step cat.
fiend.
Sandpaper
What the-
tongue.
I didn't go there.
Do not corrupt my poor innocent animal.
I don't know what you're talking about.
innocent.
All right. No, we're done.
I'll go ahead.
Good night,
and do
everybody.
You're going to hell.
We'll see you in the
All
next
of you.
episode.
Gotta
All of
be
you in
it,
hell.
but-
All right, so.
We're 3 away.
You should see what your dad said.
What did he say?
Oh no, it does matter, boy.
So
I don't know if I have the right intonation on it, but there's a large caps and exclamations.
Boy.
I'm not sure what your ruling is, but I rolled the first 69 on the channel.
Ask him. Ask him.
You rolled a what?
I rolled a 69 on the D100 test for my piss poor jokes.
All right, so we're starting over. All right, so last time on it. No,
All right, so session 0 all over.
no, I was
again.
gonna start the episode over.
Starts the whole fucking campaign.
Shit, I rolled a 69, cuts out, begins 10 seconds later. So,
that was your
last
opportunity to.
He's just gone.
Yeah, I
He's
know,
dead.
right?
You just see him shot.
I think Jason would be very, very upset, but he'd laugh with us, and all of you at home hopefully would too.
Oh my god.
All right, so taking on a more serious note, after wasting literally 60 seconds of our existence,
Only 60.
Only.
I'm guessing. I don't even want to look. In case anybody cares, 2:02 for that marked time, in case you want to see how much of a waste that was. Otherwise, yeah. Gwen has manipulated
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do that.
a nurse. Richard has schmoozed one. Adrit tried to inform one. Happens to be the same one that got manipulated by Gwen. And, yeah. Alamel now finally makes it to the hospital.
I'm here to visit Lucretia. Lamel's here.
Hands you the little clippy. Make sure you wear it at all times.
Sure thing.
You go up. I think Adrit's the one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Richard's at the nurse station. Probably still or been going around talking to them. So Gwen's down on the floor. Not.
What up, Lamel?
I figured y'all would be more buddy-buddy. Y'all are, like, going off doing your own thing.
Yeah, so, like, times have changed.
No kidding.
Yeah. We've been gone for, like, 12 hours. Not even. Shit hit the fan.
It took that much time?
I don't know.
I figured we'd be gone and it would go wrong immediately. So I'm kind of surprised we're only figuring out this now. Like, I figured we'd get
Honestly,
here.
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I figured we'd get here and the hospital would be leveled.
On fire.
Well, so they're changing her doctors. They're giving her more surgery, which we were told would kill her. But now they have a bio doctor. So, like,
So
concerning,
they're-
but also not.
So
Because they're the experts. But, you know, people also want to.
So 50-50 chance she dies or becomes a super B.
I'm going to give it 75-25. My money's on the Super B.
Your money's on the super B?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if I liked Adriana that much to begin with, really. Like, she was kind of a bitch, all things considered.
Things considered.
Mm.
Something about her and Gwen, just...
Yeah, like oil and water.
doesn't mesh.
I'm not going to tell you which one's oil and which one's water, though.
Pretty good fucking guess.
Are you involved?
Well, they're at
Still
the
in the
they're at the
room.
desk.
Okay.
I'm still in the room. Yeah.
Come on, I'll show you.
I suck at reading lips.
Fine.
I
He's looking
imagine by the time they get back to the room, I also make my way back there. My thing didn't take long.
Okay. So you all get gathered back together
Okay, boys.
around Lucretia's body laying down on a table.
Yay.
Not a table, a cot of sorts. A little better than a cot. Flashbacks. Sleeping on cots.
So, who came to the conclusion that she's going to become a super being or get robot legs?
Richard.
I was not aware of this development.
Richard.
Honestly, it's better if it... You know, I'm not going to explain it to you. Imagination is good.
Okay, well, as much as I didn't like her, she didn't really need to die, so that's fine. And I think
Where's
my
your
girlfriend
nurse?
would probably kill me if she did die, so
You have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Can I insight check that shit?
sure, go ahead.
He believes it's real.
Yeah, you're not figuring anything out
No,
for me.
no, I'm not. It's fine.
Damn fucking right you're not.
Instead of doing it, I'll just say wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Who is this girlfriend?
I think he's probably talking about his little escapade with Lisa.
Oh yeah, like that one. Well,
Is he
Were
not
you there?
also
Yeah, I know,
no,
friends
I'm
with
just assuming
Gwen?
it's Lamel.
What? No, you.
Yes, he is.
Gwen is a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different situation.
What do you think I said?
I
Gwen
don't.
is also your friend,
No,
so she is not your girlfriend.
correct.
Oh.
Hacking the language again.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I love it so much.
Ugh. She is not doing well.
I can see that she's still unconscious.
Besides the unconscious part.
Oh,
There are more developments.
like the spirits are all mad with her or something, or what?
There are no spirits here.
That's
There's-
depressing.
It is only sadness in
There
here.
was no God here. What are you talking about?
There is something obstructing her recovery, which the people here have either somehow overlooked or have ignored. I have sent a nurse down to bring someone here. I am hoping within the hour.
Well. All right.
There is only so much I
Sounds
can
nice.
do, unfortunately.
Time passes. A nurse does come in. It's not the same nurse. Oh. Need to check some stuff. She's got like a little essentially like a clipboard of sorts.
Did the other nurse send you? I think this is your person.
I was asking more for a surgeon or doctor.
I imagine
I'm just here to make sure
probably
everything's
busy.
in order.
You did not see another nurse come out here asking for assistance?
I just came on shift, so no.
My apologies.
Excuse me, pardon me. And she kind of like steps over your tail to get around the backside behind you to get to the other side.
Yeah.
You see her just kind of like sit there for a moment with her thumb against her own wrist while that one is touching her neck. Sits there for a bit. Then she just opens her mouth a little bit and has the hand over just for a bit. Takes a depressor, checks under her tongue, make sure everything's okay. Mouth just closes relatively naturally as she pushes, opens an eyelid. She basically flashes this little thing that's on her hand that just kind of occasionally glows with a soft light. Goes back. The light when it goes isn't like a consistent light. It's more like it looks like a weird candle because one, candles wouldn't be upside down without dripping wax everywhere. Two, it has this almost like soft strobing effect. Like it's not consistent at any point. Switching between like this white and yellow. She plugs in these two large wires to the back of the bed, which has a raised piece on it. There's an insert plug that would be on one side, one on another. She plugs the two of those in, takes the wires down. You can hear this hum that's coming from the cables as they're connected. And she even touches them together, and there's this very soft but very audible pop sound. It's not really strong, but if you did it to, it wouldn't be like a house wire strong, but it's strong enough to get that pop sound when you don't ground it properly. Only this is intentional to see that they're live. She takes the two pieces, and there's like little bangles that are on her wrists. They're a little further down, and she connects one in on both sides, and it sits there for a bit. She goes over to the side of the bed. She flips a couple switches on the left side of it that are there. They look more like circuits, like you're flipping these large lever pieces that are going back and forth. Once they're flipped completely, a best way to describe it is a light appears, and you see this little dot series that occurs inside of a box. And the dots are turning on and off as if it goes like on. They all turn off. On.
So it's
off.
the heartbeat then. Yeah.
And she's taking notes, and you can see her making dots on her thing as this is happening. Probably goes on for like a minute and a half, roughly. She changes the switches, and then it's just this steady, weird blip that just kind of shows up, and it's just softly blinking, and it just going across. They're separate pieces, but you can see it's going, and that goes probably for another minute, and she's tracing the exact kind of looking thing in a box on her board. While you guys are all kind of watching this entire thing, it seems very rote for her to do this. Nothing she's not done probably hundreds of times. She basically disconnects everything, goes in reverse with most of the processes, takes the cables and puts them back into the headboard of it, which it just lifts up and drops in. She has a little bit of trouble lifting it when she got them out and when she puts them back because of the thing Aldern added to the window to keep it from putting anything into the room, because it's just that piece of metal that's there. Past that, okay, thank you. And then she kind of like shuffles again over your tail and kind of like wiggles her way out of the room.
Adriana, did you want to wait longer for the person to come by? Do you want to get a new person?
He
Or are we good
could
to...
easily be gone for the day too. It is late, and I'm sure with it being on the chart, it will be brought to the attention of the people whose attention it needs to be brought to.
You hear this eat, 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 eat sound, and eventually there's what sounds like a couple of like little metal tins clacking together as the creaking sound stops. I need to check her vitae,
Or what?
Files, I
her
assume.
blood
Oh.
Oh,
vitae.
like that.
Kind of comes in. It's got a little cart. It's got a series of different vials. And this elaborate balloon contraption that it hangs up. Excuse me, I'm going to need down that side.
I move.
Alright, I will leave the room and give the man his space.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
I've got other business to take care of, so no need to spend it
Alright,
all. Waste all my time here.
I think it's time we go report in.
I will trust that they get this sorted, and I will come back again when we have time.
Oh, Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
could I argue for a short rest for my from our walk back?
I think it's fair you all could have had a short rest.
Okie dokie.
I would love one of those.
Oh no, I just cast that number.
Short rest could get your head die and certain abilities will come back.
None of mine.
Mind you, but I didn't just rest.
I kind of help you.
It's rolling dice.
Oh,
I didn't realize the audio.
I didn't know what
I
the
was watching Netflix
Like I
on
heard
it
it-
more recently, remember?
I heard a click-tack sound, but
No,
and it
it's
tells
the
me what you
dice
rolled.
being thrown on his
It's D&D Beyond giving me my health back and rolling really shitty on the D8s.
That's bound to happen. That's all right.
3, 2, 3, and then an 8.
They're not ones, so it's still better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm almost back to once and twice.
How long do those temporary hit points last? Because they gotta be gone by now.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gone. It's been hours.
Oh,
How,
so I
has it
should've
been
missed that.
8 hours since I've cast Aid?
No.
Okay, so then we still have those.
Okay.
Was that the 4 or the 5? Or the temporary or the max?
5 max.
Okay.
I was just say 8 up's your max.
So that's still accurate?
Yeah, that aid would be still active. Until you guys do a long rest or you start taking exhaustion from not sleeping,
Okay.
aid's probably going to be active.
What time is it about?
It's getting later, I assume, right?
Getting pretty much on twilight right now.
We don't have much time.
I'll talk to her in the morning.
Talk to who in the morning?
Your girlfriend.
I saw you.
Oh,
Your girl.
I mean, you know she'll be there in the evening hours.
Oh, she will?
It's either that or she went on leave and went to a bar or something.
Your call. You want to see her?
I'd like to get to the road on the road as quickly as possible. I have been summoned.
Oh. Where are you going?
Well, I was gonna invite you all anyway. So
Where are we going?
So I pull out this fucking massive, honking, fancy ass looking scroll container, solid gold caps. Take off the cap.
I don't think I want to know where this is going.
And then I pull up the simple little scroll that mentions the Tier Family Ascension meeting. I'm apparently important enough to come to this thing, which is
you
really
gotta-
confusing to me because I thought I was excommunicated. So clearly,
Is Tyr
I'm
not
more of
doing
a
well?
big deal than I even thought about.
Don't let it go
God,
to your
his head
head,
cannot
Lamar.
get bigger.
He will.
So
All right.
I gotta go to the capital. I figured you misfits would want to come with me.
If we leave to the capital, how will we know that Lucretia is safe?
We won't, but on one hand, it's not really our problem.
It is what we were assigned by Isa, is it not? And
Which
you
is
have
what we'll
quite close
talk.
ties to Isa.
So we'll go talk
Yes,
to her right
but
now.
This trumps that by quite a bit.
I will never understand these political leanings in how one thing can be deemed more important than another. If something is important, it is important. Why can it not be as simple as that?
Life is never simple, man.
It was back home.
Well, it's more, to me, the quantifiable amount of importance, right? So, Lucretia is important. That is not to be disregarded. However, she is one important. The Tyr family ascension is several important in the same room.
I will still
Therefore,
be
that
accompanying
requires
you.
my attention.
I understand.
Just leave a note for Dominus.
Do we even know where Dominus
where is
is?
he?
I should hope that he
We have no idea.
is
He went
able
with
to join
Freya.
us before we depart.
Hopefully.
If not, then yes, a note might be appropriate.
Where would we leave this note?
I don't know. Probably
Holden,
safe. Oh, yeah.
Where the fuck is he?
Probably his house.
back at work. Or yeah, his house. I've been there actually, remember?
No,
That's
I
right.
don't.
You went with me, dipshit.
He was last
And then
seen.
you left me in the house on my own while you went
No.
out drinking.
You were in that house for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember. Well,
Lamel, Dominus was last seen with Priya, yes?
Yeah.
And Priya is of the same family as you.
she's my sister, yeah.
Oh, so she's probably.
So then logically,
Is she gonna bring a
our
plus one?
fates should align with Dominus.
Probably. Look at you in family trees.
I tend to know a little bit.
It's possible. It could be work related, which may have nothing to do with the capital or the family, but
I would say we
it
should
would
not
be
worry about it.
one hell of a coincidence if he were to suddenly show up in the capital with us.
All right, off to Isa then.
Yeah, let's go talk.
We're going to the Bellator. Okay.
I guess.
As you arrive, crossing the bridge that goes over that river onto the hills that it's built upon. You approach, there's cadets doing what's probably night muster off on the, it would be the eastern field. There's probably about 200 of them or so. All in nice military lines, clean, full uniform, end-of-day inspection. You see what looks to be them fully armed. Takes all 10 seconds for everybody that's male and not a lizard to, oh wait, that's right, you could have served too. So men and women both that are not a lizard would know that's highly unusual. Not the night dress or the dress down, I guess, in this case, but being fully armed is real weird. There's a couple of cadets that are nearby the actual gates that would go in, which, as I described before, do not actually close in full. They're kind of like a portico style, but they won't close all the way. They won't close enough to basically restrict how you go through. Then there are a couple of actual Tessera soldiers, which are officers. They're just the lowest rank of them. And they're standing there giving some sort of direction to the cadets. At that point, it is very reasonable to understand that there's actually at least a squad, if not more, of full military people here that are not attached to the school.
Yeah, I don't know about you boys, but that doesn't look like my cup of tea.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And that looks like people, not tea.
That
It is a little.
correct.
It is a little weird, but
Nah, I mean,
So
we'll
just
have to point guns at us.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, we plan to go in to the very highly guarded military base and tell the commander we fucked up. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to face the consequences of our actions if you don't want to. I know I did everything I could to ensure her safety, so I think I will be fine. I'm sure Richard will be fine as he
It's
tried
better than,
as well.
Alright.
then
I
running
have
away.
verifiable evidence that I did my best. Gunshot wound.
Alright. As long as we're all on board with what's happening.
You do not have to be yourself either, Professor.
I'm always myself.
Not when you look different.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That is bullshit.
Hatred.
You haven't seen me look different, sir.
I have.
When?
When I got the gunshot wound, you turn into a little gnome and you're like.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
How
Fair enough.
did
Also
you
change your
forget?
eyes in from at
It's been a
1.2,
minute.
right?
No, I don't blame you to not remember.
Fair enough.
I have seen it.
You right. I probably wrote it in my notes.
So as you approach, you are stopped by those Tessera. There's 4 in total. One seems to actually be in charge of the others.
I did
And
this in my notes.
the couple of cadets that are there, which is 3 more cadets that are present, are essentially being dressed down is the right way to call this. Because they look like if they could get away with not having straight backs and perfectly squared out shoulders, they would be in balls on the ground, kind of dressed down. But that's not how this shit works. They have to be able to stand there and take it. So, as you're approaching, the one immediately with like the most resounding heel turn and clack you've ever seen, spins on his heels, faces you directly. You hear the clack of the hardened leather that's on there. No civilians. Turn around, cross the bridge.
I'm sorry.
When's a good time?
Not now.
Fair enough.
We have business with Isa.
I don't care.
Is she here? Can you at least tell us where she is?
Busy. Leave.
The result.
Do you want my level of diplomacy, or do you want to handle your level of diplomacy?
I gotta know. What is...
I'm gonna take a couple steps back and listen to the big strong
Your
man.
level of diplomacy now has advantage. I give him I cast enhance ability, and you have Eagle Splendor.
The way he says it. It's not what he did, it's the way he says it.
Oh god, I fucking love it. I feel like this is D&D volleyball, and I'm like, Adrian.
So yeah, you have advantage on charisma checks. Go nuts.
Okay. I don't want to... No.
Can I
That would be bad.
even further help
Story
lower
of
the
my
DC
life, right?
by presenting our paperwork that we have from ISA? Because we have Ministry of
Yeah, you
War
could present
like
it.
action from her.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I will hand out the paper while you do the talking.
And you have guidance.
This is what...
Wait, never mind. I can't concentrate on multiple things. You just have advantage.
Just split your brain, man. Lizard brain.
That's right.
Left brain, right brain.
Not how that works.
Eyes go.
I am not an iguana. Chameleon. Close enough.
What?
The 2 eyes thing.
How chameleons control their eyes independently,
Yeah.
which is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I should do a lizard folk like that in some kind of campaign.
I'll do it, dude.
I know you're doing your job. You're doing it great. We have to talk to Isa. This is a matter of life or death. We have this paper that says we're working under her. We need to see her now.
The moon will explode.
Also, that was a great heel turn, I gotta say.
Persuasion.
You can do it.
You said advantage, right?
Yeah, I was like, pretty sure you got advantage.
Advantage.
I cast Bardic Inspiration on myself. Ha 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 ha.
What did you get?
I got a 12, 19.
Ooh, nice.
Sorry, this dice sucks.
Yeah, I see that.
This looks real.
Vanished.
That's because it is real.
Wait here. Turn around.
Yes, sir.
Get ice.
I'll take a few steps closer again.
Looks like points right at one of the cadets. She's gone.
Sir, yes, sir.
I don't get a sand like that.
Well, he does like the shuffle run first, so that way it is not like breaking the appearance of that standing at attention.
Oh, he's in.
And then
fucking
as soon as it
run.
is book it, he almost slips in on the marble as he does the corner near the statues.
Then you hear this.
Yeah. Fresh wax, man. Fresh wax.
That's great.
Oh, that's gonna leave some skid marks.
Sorry, I
On
think
what
plenty of
is
food.
yours?
Don't worry.
Well, you know how like when you run on a freshly
Yeah,
waxed
plenty of
floor,
toothbrushes.
how the
Yeah.
rubber will leave that black mark.
Yeah. You did admirable, Richard.
Thank you.
They continue to talk. The one doesn't turn really too much away from you. He does kind of do the side body at you guys, so that way you're kind of like looking at the side of his shoulder, but not out in his periphery at all. You can still clearly see you. It is him, who is actually average height, clean cut. He's wearing a hat is kind of not the right term for it. It's one of those. It's got like this slight brim to it, but it's cloth that goes down the side of his head.
Kind of like a beret.
A little bit more than a beret because it comes down on it over his ears too.
Oh, that's
Oh, winter
interesting.
beret.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than a beret. It's a little closer to like a stiff.
I'm thinking the
Like a-
Russian hats. Like
Yeah, but without the fur. It's all actually just like tightly packed, either board or leather bits. In this case, it's been colored. Their uniforms are fully white with this sharp black angles that have been sewn in to give it kind of like this edging to their frame, like it running down the sides and their obliques.
so like stormtroopers.
Is this black part that no, it's not like it's. This is like ornate on a level that doesn't make sense. They do have bits of like what looks like metal. That's some of it's non-polished. Some of it looks almost chromed. That's part of it. On one side is the Tessera mark for him, which is ranked. This is not surprising to Richard, but it will be more so to most of you, which is your indication to make a history check when I describe this. But they have this mark, but then below it, it's like a patch that has an eye with a bar going through it. And that bar is then connected to a structure. It's kind of like, almost like it's on a platform. And the eye is behind it is kind of the imagery it's supposed to give.
19. History.
Okay.
Come on, history teacher, what do you got?
So, this is the first encounter with Enclage, Inquisition members.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither. I thought I would, but I don't.
Whoa, an eye behind the thing, what?
No, like that.
The guy that we just talked to, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The other two he's talking to, it's a woman who, she looks like she's probably barely made her officer rank, probably relatively recent graduate, and been accepted in. She's wearing all the usual getup that is common to all of the rest that are here without the cadet bar. She's just wearing the test remarks. The other one is a very young-looking guy, really, really young. He's bald, with the exception of two very strange non-military okay things. One is like this little twist coming off as a beard, but it's been
Oh,
grown specifically
God.
to cause it.
It's fucking braided too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's braided. And for no reason, sideburns. Just it's there. Not really more of a beard or anything. It's just this and burns, but bald. No hat.
What?
Yeah.
Kind of no
I'm
style.
not judging you, I respect your style.
I'm judging you. I don't respect your style.
You won't forget the person, though, will you?
You're right.
No, I'll only remember the sideburns and the ugly hair. The face is a blank.
That's okay. Then I won't describe the face. How's that? You won't ever remember it anyway. The individual is clearly from the southern tribes. This is noted for a couple of specific reasons. All of the southern tribes are very large individuals compared to you. On average, they have about 4 inches on both sexes.
Okay.
So to give you an example, 6'5" is probably normal for men.
So we're about the same height then.
Yeah, you're pretty close to the same size. He's very broad-shouldered. He has, what you can see in his hands are tattoos that come out. Deep, deep black marks that go into his skin. That contrasts to their slightly tanned pallor that they have.
All right.
Past that, looks military like anybody else. As a person is been addressing them, he's explaining how they're essentially required to take the top performing 5 cadets, and they're going to go through specialized survival training. And if any of them make it out, they are, by his own authority, going to be conscripted into the Inquisition.
And this is all stuff we're catching from behind the guard right outside the door?
This is happening in front of the gate.
Oh. Okay.
It doesn't care if you hear it. For military process, it's not unusual for the Inquisitions to claim cadets sometimes when their numbers come up shy. The Enclave was the last one to respond when Paladin of Darkness died. They've been trying to recover numbers for a year. So this is the only way they can do it. Generally speaking, the Inquisition is made up of individuals that are more legally minded. They're not zealots in the sense of religious fervor from this side. They're actually like the worst version of internal affairs you'll ever come up with. Think of like military internal affairs and government internal affairs, and they have the authority to shut anybody down in a heartbeat. And they can arrest anybody at any title except the paladins. They can take down vicars, which is a big deal. They have the authority to anyway. If one is here presently right now, they are technically the highest authority in the region, regardless of what Regulus is.
Regulus a bitch.
Regulus still has control of his own facility, but if this guy tells him what to jump, it might be a how high. Just to give you protocol of what's going to happen, or could happen.
Richard, you ever run into any of these people in your time in service?
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Was it a positive experience or a negative experience?
Both. So it's positive when they're on your side.
That's no nice.
It's negative when they're not.
I feel like Jason
A lot
of
of-
after this.
Any bets on whose side they're on right now?
Probably not ours, since we're not affiliated with the military at the moment, except for with this. So one step out of line, they'll come for you.
I welcome the challenge.
No.
Poor decision making.
Lamel, they will come for you.
I would agree very much, chat, that this group would be a bit inquisitive.
Like I said, Jason needs to roll a
Don't
D100
encourage
now.
He does.
Don't encourage.
Maybe it'll cancel out mine.
So I shoot the shit with the Inquisitor, ask him stuff about his service. I toss him things about my service. Times where I wasn't an Inquisitor, but I've worked with them.
Okay. Are you willing to openly talk about the Northern Front?
Is that supposed to be taboo?
No, it's just whether or not you want people knowing you were there.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Okay. It actually might have some leverage. Roll persuasion for me. Or performance, sorry, because you're having a conversation.
You still have advantage.
I still have advantage. No, not that one. I want this
Yeah.
one.
I keep pushing them down the line, so up here is probably your better bet, but you do
Oh,
the man.
Jason. I should stop looking.
21.
Ooh.
Okay. It's not really a facade, the hard edge, but if there's a way to make the man slightly soften, he at least chuckles a little bit, and he does have some recollection of it. He did not serve up there. He was in the western reaches at the time. He asks if you know about the crystal mines in the west.
I probably would have heard something about it.
So, according to reports, when he was sent there, they never found any evidence. One of the old spirits apparently inhabited some sacred site,
Mm-hmm.
and they were sent there to investigate the entire thing. And there was rumored that this, thing that was about 100 feet long and supposedly had wings was holed up inside these mines.
All right.
Am I catching any of this?
You would be overhearing because it's just a common conversation.
Does it ring a bell?
You can make an intelligence for me.
Okay. Just
You
flat
probably
intelligence.
want to as well.
Cool.
I'm just gonna do
An intelligence.
drills with my trident in the background.
What the
Be
fuck?
annoying.
All my dice are
Just flat
garbage.
intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get all the bad roll. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
5, 6, 4.
No.
Oh, 13.
Yeah, no.
No. Even I rolled like a 5 when it actually mattered anything.
Okay, so not going to really do much for you outside of what you hear.
Unfortunate.
So the stupidity of the entire thing is by the time they finally got there, they fully investigated everything. There were two things going on that were just absolutely absurd. One, the company that was working on the mine was relatively new and actually had those new spark lanterns that they had dragged the cable and everything all the way into the mine with. And it was bouncing light through some of the larger crystal formations. This gave this weird shadow thing. If you stood in a certain area as you were coming in, you would see like this shadow of what looked like a mall of some, well, actually kind of like your friend to some extent, if you were to take just his upper torso. The second part of the entire thing is we found that there's these strange red spotted newts that live in there. Apparently like the entire environment. I don't know. There's enough dampness in there. They survived, seem to be fine. It's really warm though, so that was unusual. And they thought they were broodlings of this thing. Caused an entire panic. They sent us there for no reason. Under the idea that the company was basically the one that requested it, saying that the mining guild, of course, had unleashed something. Turned out the mining company actually was cooking the books, and they are the ones that created the facsimile of this creature and then false reported it. Stupid work. I never want to do it again.
I hate to tell you this. You're in the military. There's always going to be stupid work to do.
This is why I don't serve with regulars.
Yeah.
Isa comes out.
Yay!
With the cadet who looks, at this point, like he's going to be caught between a rock and a hard place and wants to get dismissed. It's just like
I just
sweating.
want to go home.
I'm sweaty. I got to keep my head, my shoulders square.
Go, get back in line. And gone. The cadet's just gone.
I can't recall entirely. Is this the first time that Adrid actually would have met Isa?
I'm pretty sure we were all there the first time we saw her.
I don't recall directly.
Also, I feel like we were all
Yeah,
there.
I'm pretty sure you went to the Prima Bellator with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think everybody has met her in her office at one point.
Alright. It's just been a really long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. This isn't the right place to have a discussion. As she eyes the Inquisitor.
Understand. But we have important information for you.
Let's go on a walk. For
Sure.
a walk and talk.
She heads to the eastern field.
Follow right beside her.
Yeah, of course you do.
It's like
You
a
don't
dog
want to watch
chasing
her
a
go.
bone.
No.
Yes.
You try to hold her hand at all, or?
Adric learning.
I'm not stupid.
So you're standing
This
next.
also
You
be
keep
one of
going.
his girlfriends.
How's this going?
I will walk behind.
To him, yes. To
Watching
her, no.
Whatever happens.
They are not friends.
They are probably less than friends, but more than acquaintances.
Oh, it's actually someone good.
Girl acquaintance.
14.
Yes.
You watch through your
Acquaintance.
periphery and clock the Inquisitor tracking her. Not really worrying about you guys, just tracking her.
Yeah, I figured you didn't give a shit about me.
You get out over in the eastern field, and she takes a giant lever and flips it up, which turns on some lighting that's along the side of the building. The lighting has heavy cables that run down to this massive box that very quickly sets off Adrit's senses, as there is a lot of very well boxed in spirits inside there.
Shame.
Fireflies.
There's just
It won't take long.
sort of a look of grief on Adrit's face as we continue walking.
They're very spiky looking spirits. and you normally would see them in clouds.
It's just a bunch of starfish.
Starving. Lightning.
The field itself looks like it's essentially a drill zone. There's an area where there's like a box set up that probably 10 or 15 people can go up against. There's targets that are set out at different intervals and in different positions, and it looks like they have a series of metal plates that are laid down on the ground on a cable system that can be raised, lowered, or otherwise. There's crates built up as walls down the side of the thing, but there's not on the end. On the end, it goes into a hill. The hill is grassless. It's just dirt and sand and fucked up. You can tell there's been 1 or 2 fires in the area. Off to its side is a PT area where there's a wall and there's swing and there's the, 3-way pull up. There's a little bit of a flooded chamber that's there that you have to probably run across. It's got a series of logs on it, stuff like that.
Is all of this part of the building we're in? Is this?
This is outside.
Okay, so this is like a park.
There's a
outside,
large field
okay.
on the side of it.
Oh,
I know. Well, no, I didn't know if this was like their training ground or something like that.
Yeah, it's not
Somebody on the
like that.
swing
It's outside.
talking.
It's built on a series of hills. The Prima Beltor is built only. The building is on one of the hills, and it's more or less collapsed flat for the building. She kind of leans up against the lean box that would go into the what would basically be a shooting qualifier, if you will, and she just kind of leans against it. How bad's it gonna get?
Pretty bad.
Hands back, just kind of.
So, guess I'll take the forefront here,
Yeah,
guys.
have
You
at
still have advantage
want
on
to.
charisma checks.
So I believe we've pretty much failed our mission.
She's still alive though. So
Failed
like
how?
half fail.
And at this point, the eyes will slightly narrow. The voice doesn't really change much, but you get this very brief moment of irritation.
So, as Gwen said, yes, she is currently alive. She is in a coma. However, we do have conflicting knowledge that the surgery that they're going to do on her may kill her, and that there may also be someone after her life.
Well, there was clearly someone after her life. We know that much.
She was
Maybe
shot.
coming back to finish the job.
Yeah, whether they're related or not. It's
So, yeah.
entirely separate.
Noted.
Okay, no.
What'd you say?
I said
She was shot. I'm aware of the surgery.
You're aware of who's doing it?
I'm aware of how it's happening, and I don't have a lot of say in it anymore. If you catch what I mean. As for anyone out for her life, that's also out of my hands.
Well, that is why you hired us, no?
True. She kind of leans forward enough, pulls a bag out, leaves it on the table, walks back enough. Suppose you should be paid for that.
Yeah, we did a very good job. All right.
Well, I did save her life.
Work is work.
This I can agree with. It would be a waste not to accept. I also like money a lot.
Wow.
All I
For
know
the
is
person that kept giving it up, you suddenly want it.
all I know
Yes.
is I am not reaching for the money.
I'll grab it.
For the record, I gave it up once.
Yeah, all of it. Though.
I haven't had money in several sessions. I'm starving.
Gonna go get a steak dinner after this.
I will be able to eat with the mafia again. Yay!
But I can pay this time.
Yay, he'll love me.
On the bright side, we do have a lead on Adriana.
Oh.
Is this information we should be sharing?
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah. I'm
whisper it to
going
him.
to be assuming yes,
I
he does
whisper it.
technically.
I whisper it to him.
Let's get the context of this conversation clear.
Me whisper him, talk silently,
Okay.
with little noise so he hear.
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Oh, fucking God.
I'll accept some other argument for how you're going to hide that. Stealth? Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand, I feel like would make more sense. Yeah.
Gonna toss short words at me.
Catch.
I'm saying persuasion can hide context.
Well,
13.
Or that's deception. What's wrong with me? That's a skill. High brain.
Yeah,
Hold me
with
accountable.
13.
13. Okay. I'll go back to what I did.
But I wanted to end that statement off with, we still do not know who else we can or cannot trust. Isa included.
I am very aware. I got you, Adriana. Don't worry. I won't break your trust.
Yay!
All I heard was loophole.
Best friends forever.
It seems upon further review of what we have found, she wasn't kidnapped.
How so? You get a note of tension is getting a lot higher quick.
Yeah.
Are we still being watched?
you don't know.
Well, I'm asking the one who keyed me in on the watching to begin with.
What do you mean?
You said that I caught him kind of keeping an eye on her. Is that something that is
Oh, he
still...
didn't follow.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, he didn't follow.
Okay.
But if you'd like to make a arcane check, you might.
Sounds wonderful.
Or
Did
perception.
she
choice.
get scryed? 18 Arcana? She got scryed, didn't she?
You now notice on her Tessera badge, which they all have, there is an eye attached to it. It's just dangling like a charm.
And I imagine that wasn't there last time I saw her.
And it's not a patch as in if she joined.
She's being audited.
We're all
Just
being
real life
audited.
audited.
We are all being audited.
Scry's not a bad interpretation. Without detect magic, you can't confirm it though.
No, but I can clear my throat very loudly and do a eye point at her Tessera badge.
Let's just say they're not listening.
Yeah, but...
So what you're saying is, they only have visuals.
Just so that way this visual is here.
Yeah, we caught up with one of the people who kidnapped her, right? Because we tortured one of them.
Yes,
So
that is correct. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
The Hall of Tear was opened for this individual.
The Hall of Tear.
Many tears flow in the Hall of Tear.
Given what the individual, or one of the accomplices of the individuals who kidnapped her, with a, what else did I have from her?
I love this.
With what we found at her house, because I'm pretty sure we went to her house. And we went to Lucretia's house.
Yeah, it was Lucretia's house. We never went to her house.
Yeah, I was like, we didn't go to Lucretia's house.
You went to Lucretia's.
No, we
not
went to
Adriana's.
Lucretia's. We didn't go to Adriana's.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
With the information gathered from Lucretia and Alden.
Also the Watcher note, right? Because I had a little bit of info there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not enough to be significant, but it helped tie
What
it
Watcher?
together. The one that he was fucking around with.
When we were chased into the sewers the first time, when you rescued people
Oh,
from the
yeah.
building.
Yep.
That one, yeah.
Just to get our story straight.
Just get the story straight.
It should have been done in advance, but yeah, sure, whatever.
No. I'm off the fly on this.
Yeah, I figured.
We were off the cuff, if you will.
Um,
How likely does she believe us? No.
Not at all. God, no.
Things happen.
Yeah. Through just going throughout what we found, I can't tell you the exact evidence, but she didn't get kidnapped. She ran away.
That's distressing at best, especially since I was there.
Yeah, she's apparently really crafty.
How did she pull that off in a matter of 3 minutes? Was that ever found out?
I do not believe so.
Would have been pre-orchestrated.
So then I have to worry about somebody that's in the project. Got it. Did you guys hear that? Guy comes walking around the side.
Yeah, I know.
As he's walking around the side, there's 2 more following him. It's the 2 Tessera's you saw that didn't have anything on them. And a man that is pretty big, just like the one with the... like that.
I have a
Does he
feeling
at
I
least
know
have a
who
better
this
haircut?
is.
This one has a...
Only one of them.
It's just a
though.
fucking two.
I have a very strong feeling I know who this is.
This one's a little bit older,
It's probably a solid guess.
This is Regulus.
Yeah.
and he's got a
He
scar
goes solid
through his right eye,
guesses.
but it looks like it's still his eye. So the scar may have been really deep one day, but they saved it. His eye somehow. He's very regal bearing. He's got the whole chest out walk, but you can hear the clanking of the armor. But the armor itself is only pieces that are here. There's a little bit that goes across the chest. You can hear the around the waist and thighs, and the boots because they're greave sets. Past that, he's wearing that white-ish military tunic with the overcoat, but his overcoat is not all the way on. It's just behind him and attached into the collar of the pauldrons that he's wearing. The sleeves themselves just kind of dangle off the sides.
So it's like the One Piece coats?
I didn't think about it that way,
Yeah.
but I suppose.
There you go.
It doesn't have any sleeves, so that's really what the way it would work. It's just kind of an open pullover.
Alright.
So, like, if anything, it would be like this huge hole that cuts like this oval on the side of him into like a teardrop at the end.
Gotcha.
That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, it would just kind of go over the armor so you know who the hell he is in a battlefield, but not enough to be considered clothing. Past that, he has one of the most obnoxious, probably 20, 30-pound pieces of steel. Unless you fought in real melee in a conflict somewhere, you might have seen these things in a museum somewhere. They are basically this giant diamond like blade where the edges of the diamond are not really sharpened. They're just giant wedges because of the weight of the object. And they come down into this really steeped, 4-sided point. So if you were to get stabbed with this thing, you're talking about almost 2 inches wide by about 4 this way. That would go right through you.
So what you're saying is
like
it's
a
more
drill.
Don't get hit.
it's more like a raw hunk of iron
Yeah, that's been
than a
shaped.
sword.
Right, exactly. There's no handguard to it at all. It just kind of pulls in and then turns into a cylinder that would act as a handle.
That's cool.
Berserk
Berserk intensifies.
It's not sitting like this weird across his back or nothing like that. Instead, it's in the most ridiculous way you could have thought of at first. And it's the fact that he has it just kind of slung on one side and it's just kind of going back and forth like some of the people carry their rifles. But normally their rifles would be on nice straps that would keep it nice and against their back. No, this thing's just sitting there rolling back and forth on one side because it's just strapped in against the armor. And the strap piece is in the front, so if you just kind of did this, the thing would just fall over.
Sounds really uncomfortable.
Right?
Yeah.
It does, and you realize there's a harness piece that comes around and attaches to the other side to counterbalance it some.
I kind of get the feeling he doesn't care, though.
No.
No, he's a massive man. He's about 7 foot tall.
Okay.
What little bit of hair he does possess is probably got male pattern baldness spelled all over it. It's doing the whole full reseed instead of like the crowning. And he's probably in his 50s based on his general appearance. He's standing behind the others and stops at the side and lets the 3 Tesseros come up to you.
I'd say I'm surprised, but not.
Why would you be? I'm beholden to them the same as everybody else. Odlid, I will give you the moment, I guess, suppose. Inquisitor comes forward. Richard,
Yes, sir.
stand off to the side for me.
No prior deals were made.
I like how he says this. And he runs away on top of it. What the heck is this?
You scared him so much.
Was it the big guy saying this to him, or
It's the Inquisitor.
okay?
I should really wait for Josh, but I'm not gonna.
It's his own fault.
I mean, he's only got a pee. He'll be back in a little bit.
So, I want to get this all laid out and straight as it gets. Walks over to where the bag of money's at. Did you took it, or somebody take it?
I
You
took
took
I
it?
didn't
Okay.
fucking touch
You
it.
hear it? That's even better. He goes over to where the bag of money was at, and he puts down, like, unties something, and you hear this sound of like
More money.
clinking sounds.
More
It's probably about 5 times what was in the bag you just picked up.
Dude, I love money.
We're gonna level here. We're gonna make things nice, straightforward, simple, and understood. We have a vested interest in finding a military asset that has been absconded by the individual you've been investigating for the last approximate week. My team has been generally alerted to most of the broad strokes of this incident. We're more than aware that none of you are directly involved in a sense of why this person is missing or their involvement in regards to the military asset. If you can divulge any specific information that is actionable by myself and my team, then you're free to take that, walk away, and go back to your general day-to-day, whatever that looks like. If you can't do that, well, you can still go back to your day-to-day with an escort.
So he's bribe/threatening us is what you missed.
He's threatening us.
He put down a bag. It's got about roughly 5 times the amount of clinking sounds
Ooh,
than
nice.
than the one that was picked up by Lamel.
Mhm.
And he's basically saying there's a military asset that his team's been alerted of. You've all been looking into over the last couple of days or so, last week or so, and any actionable information that is given to him, great, take it, go about your whatever. Not, okay, you can leave and go about your day-to-day with an escort.
Just to clarify, what do you mean by actionable? Like, what are you exactly looking for? Like,
I want the asset. I can care less about the individual. Brass tacks, it's cutting into a major project that's being worked on. And right now, it's very much need to know, and it seems like you know more than you need. So I need to know what you know so we can solve this gap.
what? No, I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention at the time. I only remember there being some kind of energy device. That's about all I remember.
Is this still the Inquisitor speaking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big scary dude.
Not the big
He's not
No.
scary. He's average size and everything.
He's
We're-
leveling with us. He's being nice.
I think she was asking about the other big guy.
The
big
muscle.
the big scary dude
The
you
one with
described.
The one with the
Where
big
is
cute
the big
sword.
scary man you
Oh, he's standing back
described
towards
earlier?
like the corner of the field. He's
Okay.
probably about 100 feet away, if not more.
Okay.
The two Tesseras and the Inquisitor basically approached you. The two Tesseras are spending maybe 10, 15
I just
feet
assumed
behind
you
him.
described the big scary guy, so I was thinking he was one of the ones.
No, I wanted to let you know who's in the
Gotcha.
visual.
I was just thinking he was right here.
Isa starts heading over to the big dude.
Yeah.
The fuck, Isa? Alright, so we're pretty much...
What? You're civilians. You know how this goes.
Yeah.
I get the general amount of information I need. You are not in any form of trouble. The Watchers are not involved in this, so it's not like it's a law issue. Though a lot of people assume because I show up and somebody with my authority and station means that it's a legal problem. It doesn't need to be. It won't be, as long as I can do something about my problem. And my problem right now is finding this asset.
What does the asset look like?
I'm not 100% certain. I do know it is a mechanical device that is approximately bigger than a bread box and around the approximate size of a battery for a Watcher bike. Energy cell, sorry.
Do we still have that drawing?
Nope.
I think Dominus had it. No, it's on...
I know where. Say nothing.
I'm just telling you, it's the end. Nope.
I know where it is.
Okay, so then we have different information here. I misunderstood. See, I think it's in the one place. You know.
It is not with Adriana.
No, not there.
Is it with
Mountains.
Lucretia?
I thought it was in the mountains, maybe.
The actual thing is, but like...
In Nido de Tolpi?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the thing that
Out of
in
game.
Jen's
Does
first...
DM answer the question of where we last saw/heard of the object he's looking for?
in Ado's pocket.
So if I'm assuming it's the sketch that was done that Lucretia passed in the bar, Ada would be the last one you knew in possession of that sketch.
Called it.
Okay. You know better. Yay.
Snacking is a thing. Snacking is a thing.
Snacking is a thing.
What if it wasn't?
Do we know what Regulus looks like?
You do. Theoretically, so does Lamont.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
That's kind of up to Zach if he wants to Lamel to know or not.
I'm just trying
But
to
you
think of
definitely do.
how
Yeah,
Lamel
that's-
would know. Like, it's not like he would fuck around in the arena or anything.
Nope. And then he very much does not like the idea of his soldiers doing it either.
I'm gonna say Lamel would not personally know him. He would know of him.
So you've probably seen him then. Enough to know that the big dude over there is him.
Yeah.
So Regulus is big scary dude.
Yeah, so like...
If you look close enough, he's got a lot of similarities to Ado, just Ado looks way younger.
Was Ado that big?
No, Ado is not that big.
Okay.
Most people shrink when they get older. He didn't do that.
So, I mean, the guy we tortured really just kind of gave us information on the thing. She ran away. Didn't give any names. Didn't say where she went. Just a general idea of where she went, not a specific. But I also don't know the place of origin that she escaped from or ran away from, so that doesn't do you much good.
Who did you torture? Who did you interrogate?
What was his name?
I don't know. We caught names.
Okay.
I
This is
genuinely
the-
doubt that we
the
thought
fake
the peon's
watcher
name
at
was
the-
relevant.
The high plot.
Yeah.
Katrina, right? When we were having the chase scene.
Cat Vision, Alden... I don't think we,
Yeah, I really don't
Yeah,
think
I
it was
doubt
him.
we would have even bothered with his name.
He was a watcher.
Well, yeah.
Grandson,
As far as
Black
names, I really don't know.
Oh, here you go. He looked like this.
So when he goes to look at it for a minute, this is going to be unusual enough. He goes to look at it, and almost like he zones out for a second, and just kind of nods, blinks once. Okay.
Does that look any similar to how the robots acted that I have already seen?
Sorta.
Okay.
It's not a bad assumption.
Oh, I wish I had that drawing to show you, but I mean,
There was a drawing.
yeah. Was it Lucretia or who drew it?
Lucretia Jura. Or Lucretia.
Okay. So once we
Because she knew
have
of
her
it.
conscious, we can get a facsimile of description from that. Go on.
I mean, other than that, I don't really have anything that you could like intangibly use. We just got a bunch of loose threads and have an idea, and then we saved Lucretia's life from unknown assailants.
What about the whole reason you guys originally started talking? What was that based on?
I just needed a favor from, God, what's her name? The girl we were...
Adriana.
I needed a favor from Adriana. That's the whole reason I started even pursuing her, and that just led me to these people. Kind of by sheer coincidence.
So the fellow that works with Lucretia then?
Yeah.
Each of you, some form of contact that way?
I literally work at the same school as both of them.
Kind of looks at you for a moment. That same thing happens. It's split second, but it's enough to notice it without a perception. Ah, understood. You're an unusual one. Why are you involved?
I happen to be looking for information at this academy. I ran into the professor here, and then into Lamel, and I figured I'd give him a hand in searching for this individual.
So Samaritan. Interesting.
Like a good neighbor, I tread his land.
Wow, I just did a farmer's one in my head.
We
real quick,
have
too.
a sitcom of Adrian
Adrian. Dun, dun, dun,
bringing
dun,
a
dun,
cup
dun.
of
It wasn't gonna
sugar
be that.
over
Dude,
from
it's
next
Josh from
door
State
to
Farm.
help with his cookies.
Josh.
Look at all the red.
That's true. It does kind of look like he's.
I thought about wearing khakis today. I really did.
Well, the sounds like
But then that thought came to my mind, and I was like,
I can't do it either because I don't want to look like a State Farm person. Or Target.
Yeah, it was like Target, let's be real.
Either one. So, what about if you don't know anything on the asset, what about the project manager then? You seem to have been looking for the same person I am. Where are they?
We have not found her.
Deception.
Yep. Alright, we're praying to Sanitas that my -1 does not fuck me. Wait. My scale. There it is.
Can you give yourself guidance?
right in front of him.
I feel like we have not found that. I don't feel like that would go well, so.
What is it?
9.
I love everything about it.
I don't.
Continue.
Continue.
Did you succeed or fail? You
Just
don't know.
because he knows you're full of shit doesn't mean he's not going to let you keep spinning your lies.
Or he doesn't know.
Yeah, one of the
Or
two.
he just rolled really low.
It's one of the two.
Magic gets a 9, he gets
Keep
an
on,
8.
keep it on.
It's possible. It's scary, but it's possible.
So, you've spent a week looking for an individual that you each seem to have had some reason to be involved with. You've gotten enough to get into a scuffle with the familiars over it.
No, that wasn't over it.
It was over protection of a secondary asset.
You could say that, sure.
At what point did you encounter one of the knights?
Knights.
Genuine puzzlement this time.
Define nuts.
All right. Outside of conversation, is this the unknown assailant I was referring to earlier? The guy.
He doesn't know, so he's trying to figure that out.
Oh. Back in conversation. I don't recall running into any knights whatsoever.
Well, they wouldn't be in armor. That would have been too obvious.
That's probably why we.
They
think
operate
those
in
things.
shadows. They tend to manipulate current established systems. They have a habit of encouraging localized chaos to achieve any objective they need, such as, I don't know, manipulating a familiar into a territory war, calling in a false crime that's sufficiently, I don't know, flashpoint enough for the Watchers to respond with more force than they might normally, possibly firebombing a building.
Firebombing a building. That sounds familiar. That was at the same time that we ended up getting that note from that Watcher, the one that she did a little visual of.
That was a different Watcher, but alright.
No, but it was the same altercation.
Nope.
No.
Different altercation altogether.
So we started with the High Plat Doctrine. Our first combat encounter was the chase. We captured one dude.
Yeah.
We interrogated him.
Yeah, the one we
After
fought was
that, we
from
got
the
into a
school.
big fight where we were
At
defending
Lucretia's
with...
house, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
different.
that's where the firebombing was.
Yeah,
I
different.
thought we abducted a guy and tortured him there as well.
No, we
No.
did not.
We went into the sewers
We
after
went
We only
straight
tortured
through
one
that. Yeah,
guy.
that is correct.
Don't sound so disappointed.
Only one
Aw.
torture so
Only
far.
Yeah, when we were employed by ISA to protect Lucretia. At that point, one of the buildings had been firebombed.
So that is the point when you were brought in on the secondary asset.
If Lucretia's a secondary asset, then that would make sense.
Lucretia is in possession of the secondary asset, so I'm assuming that's why you were kept enough in the dark.
She didn't really have anything on her, though. Was it the thing that Alduin had? That pack?
What thing?
That pack he had.
It might have been that.
So, Lucretia didn't really have anything on her, per se, like any magical devices or tools. Her colleague and friend, Alduin, had this pack with him that seemed to be some kind of energy converter.
Interesting.
At least as far as I could tell, that's what it was. I'm not particularly fancy with machines.
Okay. And you're not sure if you ever engaged with one of the knights. Describe this incident. How did this incident unfold? This sounds like an MO that I've heard so far. You mentioned a firebombing. How and when did that happen?
It happened pretty early in the morning. We were staying at Lucretia's, guarding her over the course of the night. And we were woken to the sound of the explosion?
Yep.
We woke to the sound of the explosion. We responded on scene immediately with protecting Lucretia, and then actually combating the assailants. Where outside of conversation, how bad would it be to admitting of murdering like 5 people?
Probably not great,
They're not cops.
but also probably not great.
Oh, cool. Back into conversation. Where we dispatched
self-defense.
of 4 or 5 of them. One of them yet lived,
Sadness.
but we responded effectively to protect Lucretia and then promptly escaped through the sewers.
Anyone else have any odd occurrences in this engagement?
I received information from one of them. A cipher.
Do you still possess it?
Yada yada, blah blah blah, darkness died, chords began to rise, yada yada, and it's this one.
The point is, do you have the actual thing?
I would imagine, yes, they still have it.
May I see it?
Hand it over.
Burns it.
Hands it to one of the other tester to read it. Go on, describe how this engagement occurred.
The individual begged for their life, and I bargained for information.
So you initiated.
No.
They said that I had no reason to kill them. Things were said and done. I figured that because they were willing to give me information and walk away, they deserved to live.
Noted. Personal morality. Any other occurrences?
Save some people from a burning house, but that's about it.
Any odd feelings at any point in this engagement? being watched, being stalked,
Lonely.
being unable to keep your thoughts straight, possibly losing consciousness without any explanation.
There was this time that I drank too much.
Is this related
That
to
one
the
had an
incident?
explanation.
No, the thrill of battle kept me engaged.
I don't remember any of us not getting knocked out.
Deception.
Did anyone get knocked out?
No.
I legit think he's telling the truth, though.
He's not.
Who got knocked out?
It's a good fucking question.
When you got taken down, you went out for a round.
When?
I didn't see that.
Oh, that's right.
none
Yeah,
of us
Richard would
saw
never
that,
saw it.
actually.
You're right.
Her and the assailant was alone. We're alone
That's right.
at that point.
Nobody saw that.
I don't even remember this.
You got taken down by the captain. You tried impersonating her?
Oh, in that scene. Okay, I'm
My
sorry.
bad. I thought you guys were aware because you came and got the things off of her
No.
afterwards.
I was the only one present at that. Me and her.
Right, but who took the cuffs and stuff off you?
Dominus.
Ah, so then never mind. That's not on you. That would have been on Dominus. Okay, so then it's up to you if you say anything
Absolutely not.
about it. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I was thinking of a different combat altogether, and I was very confused.
Specifically referring to.
yeah,
when-
yeah, to that one. I gotcha.
Okay. So that seems routine. Even if they were involved, you didn't have any engagement, meaning they didn't have a reason to acquire that asset. You're saying Alden may have possessed something that had an energy source.
May have, yes. By the time it ended up making it back to our hideout, it was broken at one point. Dominus was messing around with it.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if he ever repaired it or not.
He went with you to this location when you...
He arrived there shortly after by tracking Lucretia. That's what it was. I was really confused how he just showed up at this random ass house.
Describe the object.
It
It was like a garter with a box.
What is a garter?
Mm.
You know, something
like the
above
thing that goes up your
thigh.
leg.
Unless you said it was an energy source of sorts.
Oh, you were thinking of the tracker.
Yeah.
No, he's asking about the backpack.
Oh,
What
I thought
tracker?
he just said the.
All right, to clarify, the tracker on Lucretia was a garter, the thing that goes up.
I'm aware of what a
Legs.
garter is. I was trying to figure out where it was at or what it is. Where it guards to.
Oh, well, it was on Lucretia,
Okay.
and that was the tracker. And then,
And this Alden was able to find her because of this object.
Yeah.
What was the object he used to do this?
I don't think it was the backpack. I think it was something else.
I thought it
don't know.
was the backpack.
No, because the backpack was broken when he got there.
Yeah, because he broke it on the
would have
way
to ask
using
Dominus.
it.
It's above my technology pay grade.
It was some device. I never got to see exactly what it was. I don't think it was the backpack,
I
because that
thought
was
it was
broken upon arrival.
The
He
compass.
leans back and says
to
something
it.
to one of the testers. It's super
he
low.
does.
Unless you would
Can I
like.
read lips? That'd be great.
I'll roll a perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
love
I'll
perception.
roll a perception too.
Perception?
9.
No, thank you. 9.
What is up
My
with
life,
us and this
bro.
winning bullshit?
Don't worry about it. I can't see shit.
You catch. Regardless of what they tell me next, find this individual now. One of them peels off.
Would that be referring to Alden?
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
The one with the twist peels off and starts walking towards Regulus and Isa.
Do they look over at us at all?
They're talking and doing side looks to try to keep their eye on things.
I'm gonna wave.
You're not going to get them to respond to it.
I know. I just want to annoy them.
Oh, okay. As long as there's an intent.
It's an obnoxious wave.
Why would you do that?
I like
Poor
throwing
decision-making.
fuel on the fire. It tends to help.
It does not help
No.
in these situations.
Where
I don't know.
is-
I think he's enjoying my banter. Are you enjoying my banter?
Where is Alden located?
Last I saw him, he was in a hospital room with Lucretia. Because you probably know she got shot already.
I'm aware.
Last I saw, he was there. Past that, no idea.
Has he at any point seemed like he was...
Paranoid, yeah. Always.
Interesting. How so?
Boarding up the windows of a hospital room with steel plates, constantly overlooking his shoulder, and just generally being creepy.
Odd.
No, it's not odd. It's his everyday behavior from what it seemed.
How did this individual become involved?
Quite frankly, from the beginning.
As a friend
We
of-
sought him out to find... not
Adriana.
Lucretia, Adriana.
He was in like the trifecta of it. It was like Adriana, Lucretia, and Alduin. I thought were like
Yeah, they're all buddy-buddy. And then,
That is incorrect.
well, they were buddy-buddy.
Also incorrect.
what?
They were at one point,
No.
because they knew each other.
Knowing people and being buddy-buddy are different things.
I must have gotten my social dynamic wrong. Either
I
way,
guess.
we met
I-
Aldwin first,
I interpreted that too.
and we met him at the little market that was in town recently, where he was demonstrating floating platforms.
Oh yes, the good old Coldwell Festival.
Sure.
Put on by the local high school.
Way to bring in the anime tropes.
Fine. Where did you go when you left town this morning?
The hospital.
I meant after.
He left town.
Left town.
I ran an errand.
No.
Elaborate.
I had errands to run.
And that required all of them to attend you.
We did get a frantic note. Do I have the note?
No. You're not.
I don't see why one of you or Richard.
Well, I don't think the note was incriminating, is what I'm getting at. It was just putting Jen on the spot.
I had the note last. I don't know where it went.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry, no,
he
you
had it.
guys lost the note. I don't know
physical
what
note.
the...
I'm not worried about the physical note.
I'm just trying to find what it said on it. Had to
It
go.
was, boys, come to the secret hideout. Here's the address.
Yeah, had to go deal with something. Might need help. Adriana's in trouble. Come quickly and start address here. So I am not producing that.
Like it's nothing unincriminating.
Except for it was then mentioned.
So
Yeah.
at this point, I'm gonna walk over to
No, I don't have a note.
walk over to Gwen, slap her, and
Fucking
say,
errand to run.
"She drank too much the other night. We were out of town on business dealing with a farmer. He had requested our assistance in finding his lost cattle. We got into contact with him because of a trade deal we had made in weeks prior, but unfortunately, we're not able to keep our end of the deal because of that lost cattle. So
Damn.
he decided to double down on that deal if we found those cattle for him.
Damn,
Profit for
Andrew.
us.
I repeat.
I must have drank it too much because that's really good
Yeah.
memory you got right there.
Aaron,
Ooh.
run.
Deception and deception.
Thank you. 16.
It's okay. My deception's probably gonna be worse.
That was really hard for me to come up with on the spot.
I mean, rule of cool, you should be getting advantage on that shit.
So, should I roll again then?
Oh, I thought you rolled 2 dice, so yeah, roll advantage.
Alright, yeah, I mean, that was already 16.
Does he roll the inspiration again, or?
No.
The same result on the die would be applied to whichever is the
Yeah,
higher.
so I got a 2.
This doesn't matter.
So, 16 or... Yeah, I'll take the 16.
15 for deception. One lies to it, the other swears. Come on, it's ground proof. Breaking.
I'm visibly upset that I got slapped, by the way.
I think it was necessary to sell it. I'm
Hey,
so
no,
sorry.
no. I'm just visibly
No,
upset. That
I'm
would be the
just-
appropriate reaction
Even-
if I were to get slapped.
Even in character, Adrid is sorry.
That's what it was. The note was for the job.
Curious how cattle relates to your research.
It didn't. It was a prior commitment.
Not all errands are immediately pressing and relevant to the exact thing we're doing at all times.
We still have to eat, after all.
And drink.
And without money to conduct our investigations, we will starve.
I don't
and
get
no
paid on
investigation
sabbatical.
happens.
Because we will die without food.
That is how that works.
Interesting you bring up food. Can I ask what your dealings with the Familia are?
I don't know.
Do we
Can
even
you?
remember?
I don't know. What's
Yeah,
my
actually, that's a
dealings
good.
with the familia?
That's a good question. Does Adrian remember, or is he just completely?
You know what? Make an intelligence save for me,
All right.
and let's see if at all you get above a 15. If you don't know shit.
Intelligence save.
With any detail, anyway.
17.
Okay, then you remember.
Okay.
Damn.
His mind's pretty sharp. Seems a fair way to settle it, right?
Just a simple meeting at a restaurant. He had went to talk to Isa. Nothing private there. Dominus to talk to someone else. Though the name escapes me since I was not involved. I went there to help out. Ended up having too much to drink. Almost got roped into joining a familia, but I did not.
They can be crafty. Good for you to turn them down.
Thank you.
Well, I think it was worse than you joining Familia.
Joining a different familia.
This is how the story goes.
Cuts is not something to take lightly, Andrew. I hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Good enough. If you do hear anything, you will let Isa know for me.
Absolutely.
Don't blame her too much. She didn't exactly have a choice here.
Lying between my fucking teeth right now.
Well, I will add, I won't be in town to inform Isa of anything coming up. I have to go back to the capital for a summon. So,
Fair enough.
if there's anything I could do for you in the capital, is there an office I can go to or anyone I should report?
Oh, I'm sure you can find the Inquisition office in the capital just fine.
Probably.
Don't look for them. They'll find you. Don't worry.
Lamel.
Has this giant sign that says Ministry of Law. So he goes to talk to the one tester that's still left. Regulus and Isa kind of go back around the corner and start walking back behind what would be presumably to the front. The bag of money is sitting there. You don't seem to be getting interrogated any longer.
Free money.
Okay.
I have 2 sacks of change around my belt.
You should probably split that with them.
Some little street rat
We'll do
just
that
comes, yoink, runs in the back alleyway.
The next adventure is catch that little bastard.
Yeah.
I know.
No, the next adventure is cleaning their brains off the floor.
Oh, wow.
Good lord.
Snatches, man. Hope you run faster than this.
You took the wrong sidearm. What do y'all do?
Adrian takes a deep fucking breath. Good lord.
So why did we do that?
Remind me never to do the talking again.
You did great, buddy.
That is the problem.
You guys just say this right there on the training ground?
No, that
No.
would be stupid.
You're still on the training ground unless
Let's
you're going
fucking
somewhere.
move.
I didn't imply that we were lying.
Everybody's starting to walk away.
Sounds
Sure.
great. Where did Regulus go?
As you guys get to the corner. Oh, one last quick thing.
Not fucking.
Where's Dominus?
I genuinely couldn't tell you.
Dominus is with my sister.
I guess you
If
could
you
tell.
know what he means.
Pira 2.
You
I'll
said your
find it.
sister's name wrong, by the way.
I thought it was Pira, or is it Fira?
Priya.
Priya.
Think of like a Prius.
Sorry, Ruby is still stuck in my head.
Also known as Kara. I remember that.
Or Priam, your choice.
Pria 2.
Oh, I guess I just have a secondary follow-up. I'm sorry, my bad.
So many questions.
You heard of an individual by the name of Draylin Akkad?
Draylin
Have
Akkad?
I?
You guys have. I'm
I
just
didn't
curious how
write
you
that-
react to it.
I didn't write that shit down, bro.
Were you literally looking at it? That's fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
his hand is on it.
Laurel gives these stupid faces. I have no idea what the fuck you're even saying. Because Lamel really don't fucking know.
He's not in my
I don't know who
notes.
Draylin, the specific person, is.
Yeah, I got no fucking clue.
But he's been mentioned, or he or she has been mentioned, because it's Legrisha, Draylin, and Kara.
Okay.
He
What do you tell him is my... I guess
is not on my notes. So
Better question. How do you each react to that?
I have no fucking idea.
Blank face. Never heard of him.
Legrisha mentioned him.
I know she probably did, but I
Appreciate it.
just don't remember.
Thank you. You guys are good. And that's where we're going to end game.
Perfect.
So, you at home, hope you enjoyed what's going on. We will, of course, have Magnus Aevum episode 10. That's right, the Deca is coming.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
We will be back next Monday. Otherwise, is there any final things anybody wants to share?
Good.
Buy stuff from our sponsors. They're awesome
I
people.
will talk to you after.
Keep watching this because it's awesome and really fun, and you should like it. If not,
Wow.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
that one.
Yes. Definitely. All right. Have a good week. See you next Monday.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.